33 peak concurrent. I don't know what any of that means. Done. Now I gotta go over here and delete that. Delete. Delete. There we go. Okay. There we go. Really? Really? Let's do retouch. Let's turn the light on. And now we wait. Let's go over to, there's Camaro. Okay. It's much better. See, and I like it better on my phone. I will say this much. I do like it better on my phone because the comments don't disappear. So I don't have to keep scrolling up to make them appear. It has to be, it has to be my iPad, which is fine. Not gonna lie. It sucks, but it's fine. Okay. Hey. Girl, this, would you stop reacting to shit on Discord and get in here? Fucking Miranda. Okay. Let's see. Where is, there it is. Make sure I at everyone. Add to everyone. There we go. Since she's already playing on Discord, she'll be in here. I know. You can see how tired she is with those little eyeballs. There you are. I was like, why is she playing on Discord? Get in here, girl. Carrie! Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely her bedtime. Um, so I have a question, Camaro, because you can. Um, I got a question. I don't know what I did. Um, I have somehow managed to create folders on Discord, and I don't know how to make them go away. Leave it alone. Thank you. Look, hold on. How do I make them go away? I accidentally, when I was trying to move the little thingies, I tried to move them, but somehow I managed to combine them. How do I make the folders go away? How do I make them go away? I don't know how to take them out of the folders. Uh, How do I get it out? More options? Nope, that does not remove it from the folder. I don't know how to do that. Oh, and then I have to drag them out? So I can do that. Does it make the folder disappear? Oh, it does. Oh, okay. I kept trying to press and hold to bring the folder up. And I was like, okay, so can I delete it from the, no, no, I can't delete it. Okay. I got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Carrie and Camaro. Yeah, I do things sometimes and I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? I'm moving them because they're less important. And I'm like, okay, you are not as important to me as you once were. So now you're moving down to the bottom. And then all of a sudden I didn't move it far enough and I moved it into something else. Come here, honey. Can I see your truck? You show your truck? She's taking the hubcaps off. The less important ones you put in folders. Since I figured that out, I do have 2 of them that I'm leaving in the folder. It was because I somehow managed to get Rainbow and G-Dog in a folder, and I was like, "Crap, I don't want them in there." But there are 2 others. There are 2 others that are in a folder because there's nothing that comes up on those. Nothing comes up on those, so, why do I have them? Look, she's a sleepy girl. She's a sleepy girl. Hi. Yeah, you be careful with that. Yeah, she's taking the hubcaps off of the tires. So that's her second one. What I'm saying. She always tries to figure out how to break everything. And now that belongs to me. She dropped it. Now it's mine. She already took the little things off. Now, she did take the little nubs off of there. Nope. Nope, that's mommy's now. Yep. That's my baby. Haven't had a chance to work on it. Oh, yeah, yeah, that. You know for a fact that I got other things in my pockets too. I know. I know. I know. He can't do anything without you, Camaro. You know that. Okay. Now I'm done with this since apparently that's not going to work for my live. So we're going to toss that over there. Um, let me see. Okay. My phone battery, on the other hand, I can charge it when I go to sit at my desk. But I am going to read at least one chapter right now. So I am going to read at least one chapter right now. What's a disco board? Oh. I was like, what's a disco board? You're like, yeah, the disco. Uh, uh, Okay, anyway. Discord. Don't you just love voice text? Isn't it great? And I gotta watch out for her because she likes to undo my pants. Alrighty. Now then. Oh yeah. See, and that's why I won't do it. I won't do talk to text. Talk to text is just it's more trouble than it's worth. What's up? I'm sorry. Do you have a problem with me saying that talk to text is more trouble than it's worth? How you doing, lemur? Hi, baby. I know it's almost time for bed. I know it's almost time to bed. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and read one chapter real quick before I put her to bed. You can see her little eyeballs are starting to get droopy. She will probably start to fall asleep, or she will ping pong ball once she realizes that she is falling asleep. So there are two options for her at this point. She's either going to go to sleep right there, just like that, or that coffee didn't do anything. Oh, dang. She will either fall asleep right there, or she'll run off. That's okay. I'm from TikTok, so I don't care what YouTube people think. I will say that much. I know people on YouTube have too many opinions, differences, those that I don't give a shit about anybody's opinion. I do what I want to do because I can. So there's that. I write books. I'm here to read. She's just here for right now because she isn't ready for bed just yet. And that's why I'm like, that's okay. I'm from TikTok. Exactly, Camaro. Fuck people's opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, and 9 times out of 10, they stink. So it's like, okay. Anywho, okay. Um, exactly. She's the mascot. Hi, baby. Hey. There she go. Okay, so I'm reading chapter 9 right now. Chapter 9 is a little longer than I was expecting, but it's an easy read, is how I'm going to see it, because it is just talking about the other six foster kids. So yesterday we ended where they were basically talking about six of the foster kids. I know, right? A bedtime story. Uh, so they've got 12 foster kids in the center. They had already just talked about six of them and how they got there and their stories and everything. And now we're going to talk about the other six. Now, each one of these kids, they are talking from the oldest to the youngest. So I will put that or say that much. All right. So, yes. Okay. Kensington, on the other hand, had an extremely traumatic first few hours of life. Someone had dropped him off in a laundry basket in front of at the front door of an animal shelter in the middle of the night. The umbilical cord and amniotic sac was still attached. He was crusted with amniotic fluid, which was assumed that his mother most likely gave birth at home, then packed him in the laundry basket and dropped him off within minutes. When the owner of the animal shelter arrived the following morning, Kensington was crying and soiled without a diaper. The shelter owner called emergency services and requested an ambulance. She took him inside and wrapped him in a blanket. She didn't want to clean him up so the medical techs and staff at the hospital could see the state that he was in. The shelter owner was actually surprised he was still alive. The ambulance arrived within minutes, followed by several police cars. The laundry basket was collected by police and he was taken to the hospital to be examined. During the examination, it was found that Kensington was born a month and a half premature with fetal alcohol syndrome and traces of heroin in his system. Since he had come to stay with us, he had been happier and more willing to participate in activities. When he had first arrived, he sat in front of the reception area, hugging his knees and rocking back and forth. I went over and sat next to him, silently at first. Then, when he stopped rocking, I introduced myself to him and asked if he wanted to see his new room. I had already been told that he may have to stay in my room for a little while, so I had set up a small sleeping area in the room I shared with Jasper. He had turned toward me, touched my hand, and stared into my eyes. I could see the hurt and abandonment in his eyes. I reached up and placed my hand against his cheek. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and it was almost as though I could feel him relax. When he reopened his eyes, there was a bond between the two of us. It was as if he could see all the abuse I went through in my childhood, and we were going to help each other. I immediately knew that he was going to stay at the center, and no matter what, I was going to protect him for as long as he needed me to. He only stayed in my room for about 6 months before he felt comfortable enough to join the other kids in the foster rooms. Kensington, s- Kensington's nickname was only for me. I called him my baby king or my king. Using that name when he was upset seemed to give him confidence and calmed him down to explain what was wrong. If anyone else called him king, he would become absolutely outraged and aggressive. I loved him as though he was my own son. And when, girl, sorry, uh, damn it. And when he can gather his thoughts, he does call me mommy. He might have been 15 years old but he had the emotional level of a 6-year-old. His intelligence, on the other hand, was off the charts. He was able to mimic the other children, and no matter who he was talking to, he was able to change his communication to match. If he was playing with the younger children, he knew how to talk to them in order for them to feel as though he was their age. And the same went for the older kids as well as adults. Everyone enjoyed having him there. Kensington and Sawyer may have been the same age, but Sawyer knew who his mother was. His father, on the other hand, was a mystery. Sawyer was born to a teenage mother who refused to admit who his father was. Her father had died when she was young, and they were very close. It really hit her hard, and she had tried to find that same connection with all the boys she dated. She hid the fact that she was pregnant at the age of 14 for as long as she could until her mother pointed out that she knew. When she found out she was having a boy, she felt as though she could recreate the connection she had with her father, with her son. Unfortunately, she wanted to be his friend more than she wanted to be his mother. His grandmother felt as though she was having to raise him because his mother practically let him do whatever he wanted, even if it was dangerous. Sawyer's mother was lazy and only wanted to spend time with him when she felt lonely. There were days she would push him away, wanting to be left alone, and other days she would force him to cuddle with her when she needed the feeling of connection. She didn't want to discipline him because she didn't want him to hate her. His grandmother knew he wouldn't be taken care of properly if she kicked him and his mother out of her house, but her health was failing around the time that he was 18 months old. By the time he was 2 years old, his ailing grandmother died, and his mother struggled to make ends meet. She would work at jobs for a few months, but hate the fact that she was being told what to do and would quit. His mother was hardly around, but when she was around, she was loving and attentive. However, when she left to go to work, he never knew when she would be back. He never went to school, and the most learning he received was from watching shows on the television or his neighbor. What Sawyer didn't know was that his mother was a prostitute. She would rent a hotel room for several days at a time and have men come and go for days on end until she felt as though she needed to go check on her son. She would spend a few days with him, then go back to the hotel. For several years after his grandmother had passed away, his mother had paying bills with the money she was receiving for services rendered as a prostitute. She had been arrested for prostitution several times. Those were the times he would be left alone for weeks. As the years went on, she decided she could make more money by renting hotel rooms and booking appointments. Just after his 11th birthday, his mother had not only been arrested for prostitution, but also for possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine. Before social services showed up to take him into custody, she had been through a trial and sentenced to 5 years in jail. It wasn't until her sentencing hearing that she finally mentioned to her lawyer that she had a son. He was walking home when she noticed the police present. He was walking home when he noticed the police presence around his house. Sawyer turned around and never went back. He lived on the streets for only a few weeks before he was spotted by a random good Samaritan who had who called the police. They had displayed a picture of him on the news that had to be computer generated, age progressed photo from the last photo that his grandmother had taken of him. The police picked him up and he was handed over to social services. Due to the fact that he was extremely outspoken and opinionated, it was difficult to place him in a foster home. After being bounced around due to his harsh attitude, he came to stay at the center. When his mother still had approximately a year left on her sentence, Sawyer and I had spoken to her about how well he was doing at the center. She agreed to allow him to stay as long as she was able to visit him once she was released. He agreed, and his behavior toward the other children changed. He became pleasant to be around and actually communicated with the older children rather than screaming at them. Sawyer and Archie were the two most independent children we had at the center. Archie was 16 and came from a large religious family. He was the sixth he was the sixth child out of 15 from his parents. His parents were devout Christians and deeply believed in the saying, spare the rod, spoil the child. Each of the 15 children were beat with an iron rod for any reason their parents felt was defiance from the age of 2. When he was 11 and 12, he would sneak out of the house on a regular basis. A few times, Archie's parents would call the police and report him missing. He would have been gone for at least a month before they would notice. But being escorted home by the police was never a good idea. His parents would explain to the police that he was a defiant child and a pathological liar. No matter what he told the officers, on the way back to his parents' house, his parents had already painted a negative picture of who he was, and they wouldn't listen. He had tried to tell the faculty at his school, but his parents would explain it away. His friend's mother took pictures of his wounds and guaranteed that she would testify in court in his favor if he was able to get that far. In the cases where Archie was brought home by the police, he would suffer a severe beating and would be confined to what his parents called the naughty room. The naughty room was a storage closet under the stairs. There was a cot and a bucket for a bathroom, but nothing else inside the naughty room. There was a lock on the door, and his parents would each wear a key to that lock around their neck. Between the ages of 10 and 15, Archie had run away from home so many times he hadn't even realized his parents had three more children in 5 years. At that point, he knew he had to do something before the little ones began to suffer at the hands of his and his siblings' tormentors. The last time he ran away, he ran straight to the police station. He showed the police new and old wounds, along with a crooked finger he had from when his father broke it and he wasn't taken to seek medical attention. An officer took him to the hospital and he received a full body x ray. The x ray showed several other broken bones that had healed incorrectly over time. Sorry, she keeps acting like she's gonna jump, but then she stops herself like she's not gonna make it. So she's like, um, anyway, Archie had heard about the center opening while he was still in the hospital. A couple of nurses were discussing the center when they walked into his room to check his vitals. He asked them if they were able to put him in touch with Jasper and me. When we heard his story from the head nurse, we rushed over to visit with him in the hospital. He told us the full story of his family and asked to come live at the center to recover from his traumatic childhood. He felt that if he went to live with his siblings, he would end up in jail. He wanted to live with us because he felt that he could be turned into a great person and the therapy could help him channel his anger. Okay, I have to stop right there because well, Minnie is calling. She's like, "Hey, I gotta go out." Sorry. If Minnie's asking to get out, I'm letting Minnie out. There's no litter box in the house. Hi, Min Min. Come on, baby. I know. Come on, baby. Go ahead. Kira, you go too. Go ahead. Go ahead. All right. I had to stop just a second. If Minnie's asking to go out, she's been hanging out. I haven't heard Kira move around, but I got to make sure. Minnie's been laying on the floor, hanging out in the house. She came in. Yeah, exactly. She came in when I was still live on TikTok. And that's the last time she was outside. So she's been inside for a long time. I was waiting for her to call for me, like, hey, I gotta go out. She hadn't said anything. So sorry, since she's asking, because she's been in for a long time. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Come here. Come here. She gonna have to wait. Okay. That's Miss Hayden. She's trying to call me back. I know, baby. You ready for a night? This is gonna look rough. It usually does. So anybody who doesn't know, it's gonna look rough. I know. I know, baby. I know. I know, honey. She wants to cuddle. Oh yeah. She just texted me, said rude. Well, Miss Hayden. Yeah, look, you want to say night night, everybody? Say night night. Say night night, Peachy girl. She said, no way. I don't want to go night night. I don't want to go night night. I don't want to go. Hi. I know. I know you want to stay with me, sweet girl, but it's time for mommy to work. I got to work. I got to work. I know. Say night night. Say night night. And there's a mirror right there too. That's why she keeps looking that way. No, you can't. She keeps looking over there because there's a mirror right there. Good night night. Night night. Okay. All right. Come on. I know. 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 I'll give you belly kisses. Give you belly kisses. I know. Yeah, I know. Yes. I know. I know. It's time for night. I know. I know. Yes. You're slow blinking. You're slow blinking. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I know. You'd rather be with me. I know. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I know. I know. I know. Come on. Come on. I know. I know. I know. Okay. You're half asleep now. Come on. I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. It's okay. It's okay. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Watch your fingers. Thank you. Got one. Got one bite. Got one bite. One bite. That is the only time that she ever bites me real hard. And luckily it wasn't that bad. So we're good. And now I have to tell Hayden. Okay. Let me tell Hayden. Okay. There we go. Now she can deal. Oh yeah, put it over there. My water. I have 5 messages. Oh my gosh. Y'all, who is texting me right now? Ugh. I was like, I did too. Soon as I responded to her, it then came up that it said I had 5. Oh, it's in the group. That's why. Okay, okay. I was like, good grief, who the hell is texting me right now? Uh, yes. Stop interrupting this story. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, I see it. Okay, anywho. Damn, she bit me hard. Luckily, she didn't break the skin, but she did get me. Anywho, it's fine. It looks bad because she just doesn't want to go in there. I know she doesn't. I know she doesn't want to go in there. And that's why I need to create a space where I can work and she can run. So, okay. All right, let's continue. I'm still on chapter 9. So, all right. We agreed, and he became the first foster child in the center. Archie and Finn only got along in group settings. They were the same age, but other than that, there weren't any other similarities between the two. Finn was dealt a bad hand in life. His father never wanted to have any children. When his mother revealed she was pregnant, his father told her to take care of it, or he would disappear and she would never see him again. She was excited to be having a baby and wasn't going to let his father take that away from her. When he was born, his mother tried to be a good mother, but her mental health rapidly deteriorated. It started as postpartum depression, but as the months went on, she was spiraling. She wanted to take care of him herself, but when she imagined killing her baby, she realized she needed help. She wrapped him up, placed him on the floor of the passenger seat in the car, and they moved in with his grandmother. Around that time, Around the time that he had turned 3, his mother began to lose her grip on reality. One night, his grandmother had walked in on his mother trying to smother him while he slept. She had been frustrated trying to potty train him. When he was 5, his grandmother admitted his mother into a mental health facility so she no longer had to fear that her daughter could potentially murder her grandson. His grandmother was granted full custody of him and took care of him up until he was 13. She was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and he began taking care of her. He was 15 when she died, and he only spent a couple of months in custody of social services before he came to stay at the center. It took quite a while for social services to find Finn's father. Once he was located, his father explained he didn't want to have anything to do with Finn. His father had grown a large company and had done everything he could to forget that he had a child out there running around. He told social services that bringing a child into his home would ruin his social life and probably bankrupt his business. At that point, social services decided he would be better off living at the center. We already had Archie by that time, and we thought Finn would fit right in with him. We did what we could to make sure he felt welcome and included, just as he did for all the other children. Okay. I don't know if it happened on your end, but my app was shut down on me. This happened before. This happened the last time I tried doing it from my phone. The app shuts down. Um, let's hope it doesn't happen again. I'm gonna try to finish. Where did it? Oh, it lagged because the app shut down. The app completely cut me out. I was lucky though. This time it let me just resume the live. Yeah, like literally, it just completely. It was on my home screen. So I'm just glad it let me resume the live. Okay. Was the last part that I was talking about? I'm just going to go back here. The bankrupt his business. Okay. At that point, social services decided he would be better off living at the center. We already had Archie by that time, and we thought Finn would fit right in with him. We did what we could to make sure he felt welcome and included, just as we did for all the other children when they first came to live with us. Lily and Rose were identical twins, along with their older sister Lavender. They were the newest of our foster children at the center. Their childhood wasn't filled with abuse or neglect. They had loving parents, lived in a beautiful home, and had friends that stayed over on a regular basis because the three of them were so close in age, they enjoyed spending time with each other. Sorry, I can see her out of the corner of my eye running around in there. Their mother had started her own business and worked from home. Their father was a Marine and spent a lot of his time deployed in Afghanistan. When the twins were 9 and Lavender was 10, their father was killed in action. When the girls were 15 and 16 years old, their mother decided she could no longer care for her children, or possibly didn't want to, and she left the house. After a week, when their mother didn't return, Lavender called the police to report their mother missing. She didn't realize that making a report would lead to the three of them being placed into three separate foster homes. When their social worker told them they would have to be separated, they came up with a secret meeting place the three of them would go to every time they were sent to separate homes. At the point when social services could no longer find a foster home willing to take any of them, I was contacted at the request to house the three girls, and I joyfully agreed. The first day they came to stay with us, Lavender was 2 weeks away from aging out of the system. Their social worker assured me I would only have to deal with them for a short time. Then Lavender could request custody of her sisters from the court. I sat down with the girls and explained that even when Lavender turned 18, they were all welcome to stay as long as they needed. I reassured them that no matter their age, they didn't have to leave until they were ready. She was free to live on her own once she became a legal adult, but unfortunately, she did not have the funds nor the means to live on her own. Lavender appreciated the fact that we were even allowing the three of them to live together, that she became my helper around the center. I made sure all of the children knew they were welcome to stay at the center for as long as they needed, and they all knew they had a place to come back to. I wanted to keep my children safe at all times, and since several of them were considered as a flight risk when they first arrived, they were schooled at the center. I wanted to be able to keep an eye on them for those that were my extra special children. I wanted to be sure they wouldn't be bullied. I wanted to be able to keep an eye on them. And for those that were my extra special children, I wanted to be sure they weren't bullied. Okay. Uh, there was also a potential they could end up in a hostile situation that would cause them to react violently, and I wanted to teach them the correct way to express their emotions. In my opinion, keeping a close eye on these children and teaching them how to take care of themselves in the outside world was more important than sending them to a school where undisciplined and over-disciplined children would bully other children to make themselves feel powerful or important. Okay. Hey, I'm just glad that this time when the app shut down, it let me start right back up where I was. It let me resume the live because the last time it didn't let me resume. I need to check to see if maybe there's a update. Um, if there's an update, that could be a reason for the crackling over here too. Ah, there is. Fixed bugs, improved performance, and drank way too much coffee. That's what the update says here. It's exactly what the YouTube update says. Fixed bugs, improved performance, and drank way too much coffee. That's awesome. I'm hoping, I know, I'm hoping that the update on, okay, so you have an update too. Yeah, I probably have an update on my phone. Oh my gosh, Kira, please do not pee in my house because I have no idea if she went down off the porch. I'm pretty sure she did, but I have no idea. She was standing at the door when I came out of the bedroom. I can only hope that she did because the last time I did that, where I let her out and I didn't see whether or not she went down off the porch. She was standing outside the door after I changed Aria's diaper. I opened the door, I let her in. I don't remember where I went after that. I probably came back here. And then within like an hour, I went back out there and she'd already peed on the floor. So I can only hope that she's not. Anyway, let's read chapter 10. I've got 9 more chapters to read right now. There we go. I'll go ahead and update those too, because those are my website, and one is done. And now I just got the second one. Okay, so chapter 10. As everyone began to gather for dinner, I stood outside the dining area to greet each guest. As each one of my foster children entered the room, they embraced me before handing over their completed questionnaires. Every one of them seemed excited for the party, even the children who were usually sullen and mad at the world. I wanted to make sure they had a fun childhood before they grew up and had to become adults. Kensington remained at my side as the guests filled in. Once everyone had been through the food line and taken their seats, I took Kensington's hand and wandered through the dining area, heading toward the food line for the both of us. I escorted Kensington over to the table with the other foster children before walking over to the table occupied by Charlotte, Jillian, and Jasper and took my seat. It wasn't long before several of the ladies who lived at the center with their children approached my table. I stood up so they weren't towering over me and I greeted them. "Hello, ladies. What can I do for you?" I asked. "I hear you're having a party for the foster kids here at the center," Mary Henson inquired. Mary had been at the center for 6 months. 3 months before she had become a guest, Mary was home alone with her two children, Charlie, 7, and Marissa, 5, when a man broke into her home shortly after she had put her children to bed. The man tied her up, raped her, and stabbed her 5 times. She thought she was dead and left her He thought she was dead and left her bleeding on the floor in her living room. She managed to get free and dialed emergency services. That is correct. This weekend, I plan to have a party for the children that live here at the center, I told her. "Is it for all of the children or just your foster children?" Jenny Montgomery asked with contempt. "I'm not a cruel person. Of course, it is for all the children. I'm just including the foster children in the planning. Everyone will be invited," I said, insulted. "Well, it would have been nice to have been notified before we had to sit and listen to your children brag about the party you were planning just for them," Jenny complained. "I don't have to explain myself to you, Jenny. You can leave whenever you want," I told her. Jenny Montgomery was physically abused for years by her husband. Her three children, Jessica, 12, Jasmine, 10, Jimmy, 8, all witnessed the abuse their entire lives. She had no control in her marriage, so after she came to stay at the center, she insisted on controlling everyone around her. She used intimidation and a threatening tone. She had no problem scolding other people's children, but with her children, no one was allowed to say anything to them. She gave most of her attention to Jimmy. Jessica was forced to grow up too fast, and Jasmine was mostly ignored. Jenny insisted that her children agree with her no matter what she said. As long as they agreed with her and followed along when she harassed others, she was she was easier on them. Jenny acted like a mean girl in high school toward others, and her kids were her lackeys. "My husband was hasn't been prosecuted yet. You know I can't leave. I need this place," Jenny said, her voice wavering as though she were going to cry, even though there weren't any tears. She liked to go from the aggressor to the victim in the same conversation if she felt like someone was getting the upper hand on her. Most of the other guests tried to avoid her because no matter what they were talking about, she would try to turn the conversation to herself in order to get attention and sympathy from others. If the conversation wouldn't turn to her favor, she would hold a grudge against them and make up gossip. To make matters worse, if she overheard other guests talking about her or her children, even if it was innocent, she would tell her children they were bad people and the four of them would treat those guests poorly. "Well, I guess you should change your attitude and get along with those of us trying to help you," I told her. Well, if we're done here, if we're done with Jenny problems, I would just like to say thank you, Mackenzie, for everything you do for us and the children here at the center," Mary said, touching my hand. Jenny turned abruptly and stomped off to the table where her children were sitting. I watched as she gossiped with her children and pointed in my direction. All three of her children turned to look at me. I waved and smiled, and they quickly turned back to their mother without acknowledging me. Mary walked over to the table she was sitting at with her children. When Jenny pointed at her and the three children glared at Mary's table, Mary and her children chose to avoid eye contact with Jenny, Jessica, Jasmine, and Jimmy. Mackenzie and the party Mackenzie said the party is for all of the children at the center. Jenny was overreacting again. Mary told the other ladies sitting at the table around her, loud enough for everyone in the dining hall to hear her. Once word got around the entire dining area, the guests and their children looked over at me, smiled, and waved, happy to be included. I smiled and waved back, a little annoyed as I wanted the party to be a surprise and was trying to avoid the confrontation with Jenny, knowing she would overreact. I thought I told y'all to tell the kids this was a surprise. I didn't want anyone to know about the party before I passed out the invitations, I complained. We told them not to say anything to any of the guests nor the children. Just because Jenny is a nosy bitch and overheard them talking doesn't mean they said anything to anyone, Charlotte said. I guess I should have been more specific. Maybe next time tell them they can't talk about it at all. That way, no one will overhear them, and I won't have to deal with the bitchy mother, I said, shrugging. As dinner service completed, the guests and their children began cleaning up after themselves in the dining area. As usual, Jenny and her children left their garbage and dishes on their table for someone else to take care of. Without speaking to anyone, they headed out of the dining area. Jenny, of course, held her head high, ensuring a posture to which could only be described as one of royalty. Are you going to help, Mrs. Montgomery? I asked Jenny as she walked past me. Jenny waved her hand at me as if to dismiss the fact that I had dared to even speak to her and her children grunted as they continued on toward their room. The adult guests disappeared into the kitchen area to wash dishes and clean up any leftover food, while their children alongside mine wiped down all the tables. Jillian, Charlotte, and I swept the floor under and around the tables to assist the children. Once my foster kids finished their chores, they ran over and surrounded me, all of them speaking at once. Hold on, slow down, one at a time. First, I have already ordered a bounce house and an inflatable water slide. The children erupted in cheers. Let's go over and sit down in the therapy room, I said, leading the children toward one of the front rooms. Yeesh. Why is it going to be a late night, Miranda? You got a bunch of crap going on over there? I love the fact that she hangs out inside that little thing. She just disappeared in there. There she is. Uh, can't see how many thumbs you got because of the light. I got two thumbs. You always do. Camaro, I got no idea what you're talking about. You don't know how many thumbs you got? I got. I got two. What's wrong with the light? It's a good thing that says thumbs up and not just thumbs. Oh, that. It's four. Ah, ah, thumbs up. Okay. Ah, maybe. I'm just kidding. I got two fingers. Okay. Anywho, cute little girl poking her little head out. She's inside her little cubie box. Ah, sweet baby. Ah. And chapter 11. my top fans. Damn. Okay, it won't do it like the other one does. Whew. By the way, Lemur, your profile picture looks like you're dressed up as a nun. Are you a nun? It looks like you're wearing a habit. Only because when I hit top fans, y'all's profile pictures get a lot bigger so I can see. I see it there. Lemur, you look like a nun. Looks like you're wearing a habit. Uh, that's what she does for work. She sits around and knocks on doors. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Anyway, I'm just kidding. If I look closer at it, I know what it is. I'm just messing with you. Not the first time. Ah, anyway. Hey, I'm just glad that, Camaro's not naked with the snake anymore in some of her profile pictures. I mean, at least this one's more animated as a profile picture, but Miranda's got her and her hubby in it. Everyone else in here just has animated pictures. Or Christy Jorgensen, who just has the K. Camaro, your picture. I need extra money. Right? Don't we all? I heard someone say Jesus. Carrie. uh Camaro, your profile picture that was on TikTok for the longest time, you look like you were buck naked with a giant friggin' snake on you. The naked comment. Yes. You just had this big old snake. It was covering all your naughty bits. I don't know. That's what I remember. I say that's what I remember. That means I was picturing you naked. I don't know. I mean, anyway. Looking through your window. Hmm, I'm peeping. Anyhow. I love the comment that someone said I didn't think people on YouTube liked monkeys. I was like, I love the randos that come in here and say dumb shit. I gotta tell you though, I love the fact that I've been on TikTok long enough that I don't give a shit what anybody says. Bring on your comments, bitch. I don't care. Uh, Anywho, having a problem with having too thin of a skin on YouTube? Go to TikTok. That'll thicken up your skin and not give a fuck about what anybody says. Mm, I know, and they never said anything again. Jake and Rod are restricted on TikTok. See, that's what I'm saying. You have you have to be a little more mellow on TikTok, otherwise you get restricted or you get banned. I hear you got to watch some of the things you say over here too, but that's just for monetization. They don't take your channel away for doing that. They take your channel away if you have harmful rhetoric. And mostly they just take away your monetization. You won't get money. That's all they do. You're still gonna sit here and say whatever the fuck you want to say. So there's that. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's good. He always does. I think like what, once a month? Once a month he gets banned. He just goes to his backup account. Jake got a ban and appealed it and it came back, so that worked. Yeah. So over here, the worst you can get is your money taken away. That's it. But it's mostly if you are doing, if you get like a lot of copyright strikes, that'll take away your channel. So don't steal other people's shit. If you're just profane and doing harmful, harmful things to yourself or other people, they take away your money. That's it. Yeah, exactly. People just hate animals or people or both. I think they just hate once a month. Yeah, no. Once, twice, three times a lady. Yeah, who knows? Okay, I gotta get back on this. Mm, all right, and now we know. I am gonna try probably one more time to go live on on my iPad for YouTube to check the cracklies and stuff like that. Now that it's updated, to see if that fixed it at all. The guys that we're talking about, Rod, Jake, and Creighton, are trying to get them taken off TikTok and have been spam reporting. Yeah, I would assume that anyway. Oh, so I also found out too. Um, Somebody had said something about the fact that if you block people that are just being trolls and they're not really harmful in any way. Um, I know someone that got copyrighted for the 5 seconds of yeah, I know. Certain songs on here, yeah, you'll get hit with copyright just for having a couple of seconds of that. Um, but if you block somebody on TikTok for just being a troll and saying stupid shit in your chat and stuff like that, I've heard that it fucks with the algorithm, and that's why a lot of the times your views are low, is because you're constantly blocking people. But if you mute them in the live, they can still sit there, it's fine. My biggest thing is the fact that most of the time people get blocked for saying stupid shit because I assume that what they're gonna do is they're gonna sit there and constantly just mass report me until I get banned. Although, a lot of people who are doing the shit wrong and should be banned, they get mass reported and it's like, "Oh, there's no violation found here. What are you talking about?" I'd like to know where the hell they're finding the violation for Rod and Jake. I mean, Creighton, on the other hand, Creighton's got so many damn followers, they've got enough people that or I think he's got enough people that watch him where no violation found at this point. I have no idea. He makes TikTok too much money. They're not going to do anything to him. That's how I see it. If you make them enough money, they're not going to fuck with you too much. Ugh. Any hootie. Chapter 11. The children positioned the chairs in a circle in order of their age. Evelina was to my right, and Lavender was to my left. When the center opened, Jasper and I, along with Charlotte and Jillian, established a great rapport with child services. We attended certification classes to be sure we were equipped to accommodate a large group of foster children. I started with Evelina. Evelina, what else do you think I should get for fun for the party? I asked her. Smiling, she replied, "How about games?" Okay, what kind of games? I asked. The other children glared at her and patiently waited for their turn. She immediately became apprehensive and looked down at her hands as she shrugged her shoulders. She didn't like being the center of attention, and she would become nervous in a group of more than three people. When she squeezed her eyes shut as tight as she could, I decided to move on to Sarabella. Evelina started trembling and whimpering as her anxiety began to rise to an uncomfortable level. That's okay, Ava. I'll come back to you, I told her in a soothing tone, which seemed to calm her for the moment. Zarabella doesn't care for Gabrielle and tends to give her the most attitude. Several times I've had to calm her after having a confrontation with Gabrielle. Zarabella doesn't like being told what to do. She prefers to be asked. Zarabella, what kind of games do you think we should have at the party? I asked her. Can we do drinking games? With juice, of course.
Zarabella said, giggling. I second drinking games, Lavender chimed in. You'll have your chance, Lavender, I told her. That's right. Save the best for last, Lavender said, smiling from ear to ear as she leaned back in her seat. So, Zarabella, what kind of drinking games are you thinking about? I asked. Beer pong, beardleship, word shots, she suggested. I laughed at her innovation. Okay, call me a fuddy duddy, but other than beer pong, what is beardleship and word shots? Beardleship is like battleship, but your ships are set up as cups, Archie informed. Anytime there's a hit, you drink the cup on that spot. You can get trashed really fast or keep you sober longer, Finn said, laughing. We're using juice, so no one is getting trashed, I told them. Well, we can pretend, Lavender said, smiling. Moving on. What is word shots? I wondered. You pick a word, and every time someone says that word, everyone takes a shot. But of juice, in this case, Zarabella explained. Okay, sounds like fun. Is everyone okay with these games? I asked. When Lavender, Zarabella, Finn, and Archie stood up and began cheering loudly, Kensington came over and sat on the floor next to me, hiding his face in my lap. Evelina ran behind my chair and hugged my arm. I stroked Kensington's back, trying to calm him down, and held Evelina's hand as she nuzzled her face into my neck. Okay, okay, everyone calm down, I told them. The noisy four calmed down and took their seats. Once the room quieted down, Kensington and Evelina, oh, I skipped a line, seemed to emerge from their hiding places, but continued to cling to me. I was able to free my arm from Evelina and wrote down the game ideas with a safe twist. I knew these teenagers were trouble, but drinking games being suggested was very funny to me. All right, let's move on. Kendall, do you have anything to add? I asked. Is this just for us, or are the other kids here at the center invited as well? Kendall asked. I think it would be cruel to not to include the other kids to join in. Everyone is invited. I just thought it would be fun to include y'all in the planning, I told them. Oh, good. Well, since there are some young children here, how about a pinata or a large ball pit? Kendall suggested. That's sweet, thinking of the other kids, I said. I can do the ball pit, but I don't think giving some of the other kids a large stick to beat on something is a good idea. The children all laughed and nodded, knowing which children I was referring to. Not only were Jenny's children questionable, but there were some that had their lives changed from accidental amputation, and others who were just angry because their mother changed their living situation. Evelina, is there anything you want to add? I asked, looking down at her next to me on the floor. Her back was to the other kids, so when she looked up at me, she could only see me. I smiled at her as I noticed she had been crying. I was trying to reassure her that it was okay to feel overwhelmed and express her feelings. I leaned down and patted Kensington on the back. His head was still in my lap. My sweet king, may I sit Evelina in my lap? She seems upset and might need a cuddle, I requested. Yes. I will say this much, okay? Word shots. My son's 21st birthday. We were watching Liar Liar. He got to pick the word. And because the only part of that movie that he could remember was the part where um, they're like outside of the courtroom and that one woman goes, Mr. Reed. And he goes, Mr. Reed, Mr. Reed, you know. So he picks the word Mr. We barely got halfway through the movie before he was completely hammered. The word Mister was used 37 times in the span of 10 minutes in that movie. Yeah. We lived in the RV at the time. Closing the door to the bathroom as he hurled everything out of him did nothing because the gap underneath the door is huge and the gap above the door is huge. It literally is just it doesn't have a door frame all the way around it. It's just on the sides. So it holds up and it closes, and that's it. The top and the bottom have very large openings because it has to, air has to circulate throughout the entire thing. Yeah. I can't listen to a grown person puke. It'll make me want to vomit. So, yeah. And I was like, well, at least we're the ones who got him hammered the first time. And yes, I can verify it was the very first time he was hammered. I mean, I can't say he hadn't come home, you know, a little on something else. Because when he comes down the stairs and he's all like, dude, I'm so hungry. I know what you are, dude. I hung out with those kids in school. So, anyway, he learned his lesson with that one. He almost didn't want to finish watching the movie because of the fact that every time he heard the word Mr., it kept making his tummy go, oh, elevated. Oh, I know. Oh, dogs, where it gives you like that. There's that warning. The sound of a dog getting ready to. Yeah, I know. Wait, wait. That is the one thing. The sound of the dog getting ready to go is like, please don't do that on my bed. Get off the sofa. Anything. Yeah. That's another thing with Kira. Let me put it this way. With Kira, she has had less of that since Layla's been gone. I will say that much. It seemed like whenever Layla was here, I swear, I feel like Kira was doing that all the time. And I don't know why. Exactly. Get off the rug. Yeah. That's the one thing I can say. Okay, so Layla was always really nice about that. She always got off the furniture before she was gonna, you know, regurgitate. Kira, on the other hand, she just stood up. Didn't matter where the hell she was. She just stood up, and that's where it came out. Uh, so yeah, but because there's always that warning. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on. I'm on chapter 12. So I do love the fact though that kids can have a sense of humor. They get it too. Because I'm thinking about, doing some kind of games or something like that, but with lemon juice, because, you get the pucker. So it's kind of the same thing, right? We're not looking to get hammered. We're just looking to make a face. So that's what I'm thinking. My mom and I don't drink. So if we can have games where we can feel like we're included, plus not only that, but lemonade. I mean, lemon juice and lemonade are not the same thing, but I'm just saying lemonade actually assists in helping your kidneys. If there are any calcium deposits in there, it will break down so there won't be any way for them to form kidney stones. So there you go. There's that. Lime juice, is lime juice worse than lemon juice? I mean, the only time I've ever had limes is cutting them and putting them on mixed drinks when I worked as a bartender. Lemons were always what you give to your babies when you wanna see them, you know? Ooh, maybe that's what I should do, just slice them up. You gotta eat a lemon every time. And I mean, ah, alright. Chapter 12. He sat up, and I held my arms out to Evelina. She reached up, and I lifted her into my lap. She curled into me. As I wrapped my arms around her, gently rocking, I decided to give her time to release her emotions before speaking to her. Oh, that's fine. Lemons are good, though. I like it. Uh, okay, Landon. You're up. What do you want to do? What do you want to have at the party? I asked him. I'm okay with what we have so far, Landon told me. There isn't anything you could think of. Okay. Um, there isn't anything you could think of that you might want to add, I asked him. I can't think of anything right now, he answered sullen. Okay, you think about it and I'll come back to you. All right, Griffin, do you have anything to add? How about ring toss? Griffin suggested. Sounds like fun, I said. If you get some 2x4s and dowels, the boys and I can construct it and the girls can paint it, Griffin said. Or Griffin decided. That's a great idea. Is everyone okay with that? I asked. The others nodded in agreement with the idea. Griffin was taught to build things by his father. His grandfather tried to continue on after his father's death, but his arthritis was too far advanced to do much. So he was only able to watch Griffin. Kensington, I know you have an idea, I said. All right, my king, what are you thinking? I want beanbag toss. Kensington said, clapping his hands, rocking back and forth with excitement and laughing. You got it, I told him. Due to his laugh being incredibly infectious, all the other children joined in with his excitement. The 12 of them stood up and began dancing around the room as Kensington belted out his favorite song. He would always sing when he was happy, and his voice was amazing. Lavender pranced over and grabbed my hands. She was trying to include me in their mini party. I stood up and swayed back and forth, allowing the children to play around. After a little while, the room began to spin around me, so I lowered myself back into my chair as I waited for the kids to return to their seats. It was about 10 minutes before they decided they'd had enough fun and wanted to continue the party planning. Kensington returned to the floor by my side, whereas Evelina returned to her chair between Zarabella and me. The girls held hands and whispered secrets to each other. All right, Sawyer, it's your turn, I told him. How about darts? Sawyer said. We can do darts. You want a dartboard? I asked him. Depends. We may need to bring it inside so the small children can't get injured, Sawyer suggested. That might be a good idea. Some of these small kids might run between the dart and the dartboard. We don't need a young child running around a dart with a dart sticking out of their head, Archie commented. Okay, we can put the dartboard in here. Go ahead, Archie, give me something else, I said. How about frisbee golf? Archie suggested. That's interesting. I wonder if we would be able to get that set up, I said. I can be in charge of finding an area to place it if that helps, Archie said. That would be great, Archie. Okay, you're in charge of finding an area to set it up. I'll supply you with stakes and ribbon for you to mark where each goal will be placed, I told him. We can start with 9 if there isn't enough room for all of them. I will figure out the best placement. Archie began to plan. Okay, you plan it out, and we'll all go shopping for materials for anything we will need, I told him. Finn, do you have anything? What about a small area for soccer? Finn suggested. Okay, Finn, you and Archie work together so the frisbee golf and soccer area don't interfere with each other, I told him. Archie and Finn slapped hands in a high five and seemed genuinely in sync and happy to be working with each other. The two of them were genuinely like brothers. When they agreed on something, they got along pretty well. But if they were left alone for an extended period of time, they would argue. We got this, Archie said to Finn. We got this, Finn agreed with Archie. Good. Now, Lily, Rose, and Lavender, the three of you have been over here whispering to each other for a while. What are the three of you thinking? I asked. Lily and Rose, are there any games y'all would like to play? I already seconded the drinking games. I just think that something a little stronger than juice might be a little more fun, Lavender said, laughing and nudging her sisters. Agreed, Lily and Rose concurred simultaneously. Now, Lavender, you know I'm not the one to contribute to the delinquency of minors, I told her, raising my eyebrows at her. Ooh, Archie and Finn mocked at the same time. All right, boys, that's enough. Girls, is there anything other than what has already been suggested that y'all want? I asked, rolling my eyes. No, ma'am. All three echoed each other. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your input. I will be planning out our course of action tomorrow and will request your assistance when Jasper and I are ready. Tonight, we have planned a special family movie night. Jasper is setting up cots with sleeping bags in our room, and we will be having a slumber party. Go put on your PJs and meet in my room in an hour, I told them. My 12 children stood and danced around the room before approaching me. The girls came to me for hugs, and the boys each gave me a high five. As a group, they left the room. While I sat for a few moments breathing, my stomach felt queasy. My stomach was feeling queasy, and I was attempting to hide my ailment from everyone in the center. All right. That one was short, so we'll go straight on to 13. The next morning, I attached my limb and quietly slipped out of bed. As I tiptoed out of the room, I peeked at each one of my sleeping children. I decided to skip breakfast, but made sure to have my coffee. My stomach just wouldn't settle, so I grabbed a box of crackers to snack on. I spent most of the day in my office organizing the event. I ordered the food, a ball pit, candy, and party favor bags. I made a list of supplies for purchase in order to construct the setups for the other games. Jasper and I were going to take the kids to the hardware store to purchase the supplies. I was glad that we still had a couple of days before the event so I could get a handle on my tummy troubles. I wanted the boys to grow up with basic handyman skills, so they were going to put together all the games that required assembly. There were a specific set of skills we wanted the girls to grow up with that also included them being handy. So they were going to paint what was assembled. We wanted the games to appear enticing, so I was going to let them pick out whatever paint they wanted that they found to be fun colors. To ensure the boys wouldn't be using the power tools on each other, Jasper was going to assist the boys. Plus, some of the boys had never used power tools before, so he would have to teach them control. While While all that would be going on, I would be assisting the girls. I figured I would mostly be overseeing them as they were decorating and painting. The girls can become a bunch of little vandals if we allowed them to. I wanted to be sure that Lavender wouldn't try to convince the others to tag the walls in the therapy room. She was a sweet girl, but still needed guidance in her life. After lunch, Jasper and I piled the kids into the center's van and headed off to the hardware store. We split off as soon as we walked through the front doors. Jasper took the boys to the lumber area, while I took the girls over to the paint. Pick neutral colors that are fun, I told them. So brown, gray, and black, Lavender said, slouching her entire body as low as she could go while still standing. No, not just brown, gray, and black. You can get yellow, green, and different shades of red, I told her, mimicking her posture. What about blue? There are neutral shades of blue, Zarabella mentioned, pulling out a swatch card from the wall color wall. That's perfect, I complimented her choice. Okay, I get your point, Lavender said, straightening her stance and taking a deep breath. The girls chose crap. Um, 5 different colors that they felt were fun and as neutral as they could find. The boys met us at the checkout with several different sizes and shapes of wood that none of the girls could figure out what they would turn into. Once we were back from the store, I began feeling off. That was the only way I could describe it. Off. All of my energy was drained. I was out of breath just talking and felt like I just wanted to lay down and go to sleep. I didn't know why I felt so drained. I did what I could to assist the girls with filling the party favor bags that had been delivered while we had been out. The boys were working diligently to get the games cut, sanded, and assembled so the girls could begin painting. When Jillian came to the therapy room we were in, she must have noticed how lethargic I was. The girls were singing and had an assembly line going, placing items in the bags and passing them to the next person to do the same. I was sitting in a chair nearby, trying not to fall asleep. Hey, Kenzie, are you feeling okay? Jillian asked, placing a hand on my right shoulder. I don't know. I just feel absolutely drained, I told her. Maybe your body is finally relaxing after all the stress you've been through. It could be. You wouldn't mind staying with the girls, would you? I need to go lay down. I asked her, rubbing my forehead. No problem, hun. Go ahead, Jillian told me. Okay, girls, I'm not feeling well, so Miss Jillian is going to take over for me. Please be good and don't give her a hard time. I love you all, I told them. Each one of the girls ran over to me for cuddles before I went to my room. I made it a rule that if anyone is not feeling their best and they voice their concerns, it would be a loving gesture to give them a hug and show them you are concerned. The girls were only able to hug the other girls, while the boys were only able to hug the other boys. This was to ensure nothing inappropriate happened. Oh, Uh, this was to ensure nothing inappropriate happened and also protect them from false allegations. However, Jasper and I were both available for any children needing parental contact. As I headed up the stairs, my depth perception was wavering. Each step seemed to be a different distance away from me. Some seemed far away, while others seemed so close. I caught my toe on the edge of a couple of steps and had to put my hands out in front of me to catch myself from smacking my face. At the top of the stairs, I sat down for a moment to catch my bearings. My head was swimming and my stomach was flopping around like a fish out of water. I had just barely laid down in my bed for only a few moments before Jasper came in. He set a mug of steaming liquid down on the nightstand next to me. Who is with the boys? I asked him. Jillian is sitting with all of the children right now. She told me you weren't feeling well, Jasper told me. You left sweet, soft spoken Jillian with 12 children alone? Don't worry, I asked Charlotte to go in and help with her. Thank goodness. Those kids would have taken advantage of Jillian if they had the chance. So, what did you bring me? I asked, slowly sitting up on the bed. It's peppermint tea. It will help soothe your stomach and assist with your blood sugar if it's low, he said, handing me the mug. I sipped the warm liquid. I could feel the cooling peppermint sensation trickle down my esophagus into my chest and settle into my stomach. I knew it wouldn't help with the way I was feeling, but it was sweet of him to try to help. So I drank it anyway. What are you feeling? Jasper asked. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel drained. It hit me hard and all at once. I think I'm just going to take a nap. I'll be up before dinner, I told him. Okay, sweetheart. Hopefully you feel better when you get up, he said, kissing me on the forehead. I took another sip of the peppermint tea, set the mug down on the nightstand, and settled into the bed as Jasper left the room. Camaro and Miranda. um, and Miranda's never even been pregnant. Ah, well, that is a little baby hand. So I had a doll I got from the dollar store that I took. I feel like they happened yesterday. Lemur. Uh, so I got a doll from the dollar store. Tore its arms off. This is actually a pillow. I cut open, put some ball cap on the top and on the bottom, so it looks like skin that's been pulled apart, and the little baby hand. The little baby hand. And no, this is not a vagina. See, there's the hand. I just turned it sideways. It was this way, and then it went up and down. And yes, people say it looks like a vagina, and I don't care. I sell books that way too. I've had a guy decide he wanted to buy it because he said it looked like a vagina, and that's what he wanted in his house. I don't care what they do with it after they buy their books. After you have it, it's on you. Just don't return it to Amazon. Damn it. I'm tired of seeing that. Ugh. And the only reason why I take breaks in between chapters is a lot from that yawning. As long as it was bought. Exactly, exactly. That yawning is from when they say that your eye movements from reading is what causes you to get tired. Oh, no! That's okay, she's taking a nap. She decided to take a nap. Nothing has been revealed yet. She just feels like shit. Ugh. Everybody needs a little piece of Camaro. The preggers nap. It's not like we all don't know. Yeah, right? I mean, all right, chapter 14. By the time I woke up, oh, okay, we're good. By the way, says there's 7 people in here, 5 thumbs up. If you haven't liked this yet, like the live. Hello. I'm a pretty cool person, sort of, and I write books. At the end of the year, woohoo! Don't try, just do. Anytime people try, they have a hard time with it. Just have fun with it. Just don't use birth control and have fun. Don't pay too much attention to it. If you think about it too much, it one won't happen, or two, you'll think you are until you find out you're not. That's how that works. If you try too hard, you'll think you are. Exactly, exactly. Just let it happen. I mean, hey, she's married, so she can let it happen all she wants. Um, there is one thing I will say, okay? I paid way too much attention to it. I would be late. I would take a pregnancy test, hoping for the best, because that's what I did in my 20s. And within hours later, I was no longer late. Yeah, yeah, that's all you need to do. Just cut it off and keep going, whatever. But yeah, every time I took a pregnancy test because I was late, a few hours later, I was no longer late. There it was. So don't think about it too much. Just hope for the best. I know, right, Camaro? I dodged a bullet with that one. There was a reason why I wasn't allowed to have any more kids. That's why you said at the end of the year, yeah. See, look, okay, so she partially climbed out of there and put her head down, like she was getting ready to go to sleep. She keeps doing that where she leans out and then her head like and she'll just lean over and she's half in, half out. Oh, she just went back in there. It's so cute. She's so cute. She's talking to her foot. I have the volume turned down so you can't hear it. But that's exactly what she's doing right there. Hey, there was one time I was watching her last night and she's got a thumb in her mouth. She barely ever. No, I'm on my phone. It's just the baby monitor. Um, but she hardly ever sucks her thumb anymore. So when she does, I'm like, oh, yay, she still sucks her thumb. She just doesn't do it as often. That's so cute. Yeah. No, I'm on my phone. It's because my iPad was crackling, so I had to use my phone. But anyhow, all right, chapter 14, because we got 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Yeah. Since Ethan and Hayden got a new monitor, because they can put one camera in the room with the older two and one camera in the room with the baby, and they only need one of these, and then they can switch back and forth and see all 3 of the kids in 2 separate rooms from the one monitor. So they gave me this one. I was like, as soon as I got the monitor, that's when I started putting her in her bed because I was like, I don't want to put her in there until I'm going to bed, you know? So, yeah. I know, I was like, "Aw." Although now this one here on Amazon is like, I don't know, 30 bucks? It's like $30, so it's not ch it's not expensive anymore. I'm pretty sure that when she got it, it was probably over 100 bucks. I was like, "Yikes." I thought about getting, um, like a higher tech one that has a bunch of cameras, so I can put cameras everywhere and then just switch so I could see her at any point in time. So I'm thinking about doing that. But we'll worry about that later. Exactly. Exactly, lemur. Yes. Movement detected. What is she doing? She's still sleeping. She just rolled over. See, now when my son was a baby, all it was just those little boxes that had sound. So I'd have the box underneath his bed and I had the receiver that I walked around with. By the time he was 4, he figured out where that sound box was that he talked into. It was under his bed. He'd get out of bed, climb underneath there, and talk right into it and go, "Mommy." So I had to take it out of his room. I bought him walkie-talkies instead. He can still talk to me. It was cute. He can still talk to me, so but anyhow, it can creep you out at 2 AM. It really is. It is very, very creepy, yes. It is very creepy. One thing I cannot figure out is that the AC is set at 74. It's 74 in here all day long, and I have to have the space heater on. At night, when you would think that the temperature would be a little lower, it gets warmer in here. I have to turn off the space heater. It's like the AC never kicks on, and it's so warm inside, but it's fine. Creepy at 2 AM is watching a scary movie. You're home alone with your kids. They're supposed to be asleep, and then you hear kids laughing out of nowhere. Ah, yes. Now, wait. Creepy is watching the movie Megan, the one with the robot doll, and having a book that is one of those electronic books. You have to push the buttons and they make noise, right? It's been sitting underneath the TV on the floor for 2 weeks. Nobody's touched it. Of course, it also hasn't been turned off yet. And the Megan doll is picked up, right? And her face turns directly to the camera. So it looks like she's looking right at you. And that book makes noise right then. Needless to say, it is turned off. I think I removed the batteries as well. And it's in the back room now. That scared the ever living shit out of me. So, yeah, hadn't been touched in 2 weeks. Oh, yeah. That was fun. That was really fun. Now, it wasn't 2 AM, but still. So, anyhow. All right. Chapter 14. Moving on. Okay. By the time I woke up, it was dark and Jasper was laying in the bed next to me, asleep. Shit, how long have I been asleep? I thought. I looked at the clock on my nightstand. The digital numbers showed me it was 1:30 in the morning. That meant I had been asleep for 10 hours. I understood why I was wide awake at that point. I swung my right leg off the edge of the bed and sat up. Reaching over, I grabbed my crutches, which were leaning against the wall between the bed and my nightstand. Instead of attaching my prosthetic, my left leg was leaning against the front of my nightstand, but my bladder wouldn't hold off in the time it would take me to attach it. So I crouched myself to the bathroom. Once I completed my business, I went back to sit on the edge of the bed. I picked up my phone off my nightstand to scroll social media for a few minutes before wandering through the center. As the screen lit up, before I was able to enter my unlock code, I saw I had a notification from my text message app from Amber. Sliding the notification in order to open the message, I entered my unlock code. Mackenzie, I need your help. Angela is crazy. I'm being followed by a white panel van. Angela and her teenage son have threatened me. If I don't bring you to them, they said they would kill me. Please call me. I stared at the message for a moment, trying to figure out what I should do. Amber was informed not to contact me, but she had contacted me several times since she had left town. Since I had been ignoring her messages and phone calls, I decided I should probably respond to her that time. I knew it was probably not a good idea without consulting Faith first, but it was barely 2 in the morning and I wasn't going to bother her that early. Amber, I have already talked to Agent Lee about your conversation with her. I know about Angela and her cult mentality. I recently came back from my honeymoon and am trying to live a semi-normal life. If you're having a problem, just move again. Go somewhere else and get away from Angela. That's all I can tell you for now. All correspondence after this should be done through Agent Lee. I reread my response, then went ahead and sent the message. I did I didn't know how else to tell her nicely to leave me alone. Amber had deceived me and everyone else at the center. I preferred to avoid her and move forward with my life. I preferred avoiding Rebecca daily as well because I wanted to put that part of my past behind me. But sometimes I would see her in the common areas. Even though I was still feeling off, I decided I wanted to get up and start my day. I couldn't figure out what it was, but something was definitely going on with me. I thought I could be getting sick, but I figured I would just wait it out since it just seemed to be nausea and fatigue. I took a deep breath, reached over, and opened the top drawer in my nightstand. Grabbing my stump sock, I pulled it on and smoothed it out. As I grabbed my accessory appendage, I slipped it over the stump sock and strapped it to my thigh. Slowly, I slipped out of bed and ambled over to my closet. After getting dressed, I quietly left the room. I made my way down the stairs to my office in order to finalize the activities list for the afternoon. Once I had the party completely organized, I made my way into the kitchen for coffee. Since by that time it was 4 in the morning, I figured some of the parents would be getting up soon. So I set one percolator to brew a full carafe. As I waited for the coffee to brew, my phone rang. I pulled it out of my pocket and looked at the screen. It was Amber. I slid the bar at the bottom of the screen and answered it. Amber, you need to stop calling me, I told her after putting my phone up to my ear. Mackenzie, please, you don't understand. We are both in danger. Angela told me there were 4 people that came into contact with you on your honeymoon. They were there to abduct you, but Jasper was always around. They are now keeping an eye on you. Agent Lee needs to be informed in order to keep you safe, Amber said with a panicked tone. What are you talking about? Why should I believe you? You took me out to the middle of nowhere and I was almost murdered by our father. Why would you care if someone wanted to kill me now? I wondered. I saved you, remember? Saved me? Saving me would have been stopping Brett Carter from reopening my amputated stump. Saving me would have been not allowing him to give Rebecca an identical amputation. I now have to put up with her daily. Just keep your eyes open for 4 people you met on your honeymoon. They could at any time show up and you can't fight off 4 people on your own. Also, Jasper is not who you think he is. Just tell Agent Lee what I told you. She can keep you safe, Amber said before hanging up. Wait, what do you mean Jasper is not who I think he is? Amber? I yelled into the phone after the call disconnected. I put my phone back into my pocket and thought about Sarah, Dustin, Hallie, and Camden. They seemed like normal people, other than the fact that they annoyed the shit out of me. Not only that, but what did she mean when she said Jasper is not who I think he is? Was Amber implying something negative about my husband, or was she just trying to scare me? Ooh, ooh. It's happening. Shit is gonna go down. Damn. Miranda, what the hell? I know, right? We'll get it. Hey, there's twists and turns at every part of these books. Everything happens where it's like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Wait, who did what now? What? That's why Family Affair is so much fun. Family Affair is so much fun because nobody knows what's coming until it happens. And then it's like, what? Same one. Nobody knows what's gonna happen until nobody knows what's coming until it happens. That's what I'm getting. All right. I filled a travel cup with coffee, added a little creamer, pressed the lid down on top, and headed back to my room. I wanted to talk to Jasper about the four people. Uh-oh. Sorry. I wanted to talk to Jasper about the four people we had met on our honeymoon. I didn't get the vibe that they were stalking us, just a few coincidental meetings. I was going to sit in the chair next to the window and wait for him to wake up. I slowly turned the knob and tried opening the door quietly, but that caused the door to create a loud groan. Jasper rolled over in the bed and opened his eyes. Peering in my direction, I froze in the doorway, waiting to see if he was going to wake up or close his eyes and go back to sleep. He blinked several times as if he was trying to figure out if he was dreaming. When he lifted his head up and squinted his eyes as the light beamed in from the hallway, I knew he was waking up. I stepped into the room and closed the door. "What are you doing?" he asked. "I can't believe I slept as long as I did. I missed dinner. I just went out to organize the day's events and get some coffee. Amber contacted me again. It started as a text exchange, but while I was waiting for the coffee to brew, she called me," I informed him as I walked over to the chair in front of the window and sat down. He sat straight up in bed and turned on the bedside lamp. "What did she say?" "She told me that the two couples we met on our honeymoon were there to abduct me for Angela. Luckily, we were always together, so they were unable to fulfill their task. She also said they are going to continue to attempt to abduct me, so I shouldn't be left alone." "Are you talking about the four people we came into contact with w- the first few days of our honeymoon and never saw again?" "She didn't mention them by name, but I'm sure that's who she's talking about." "Well, do you think she's telling the truth?" Jasper inquired. "There's no way she would know anything about Angela. I only spent one night in that foster home. The second night, the foster mother beat me and I needed medical attention. We all escaped and were scattered from there. I never saw her or any of the other children from that home again. I didn't even think about her until Faith told me about the conversation she had with Amber," I told him. "I remember you telling me about Angela when we were kids and we were sharing stories about our past foster homes. Are you sure that you didn't possibly share that information with Amber during a conversation when she was pretending to be mute? I haven't even thought about Angela in years. She wasn't exactly a significant part of my past." "Are you sure? When you first moved into the group home with me, you seemed pretty sure that the kids from your first foster home were the ones who helped you get through all the shit you went through." "What are you even talking about? Why does it sound like you're trying to defend Angela's actions? Just because they gave me advice when I was 6 years old doesn't mean they helped me through anything. As a matter of fact, Angela wanted me to keep my mouth shut about our abusive foster mother and just comply with the bitch's orders. If anything, the boys helped me more than Angela did," I argued. "Okay, okay. So do you know what happened to Angela when y'all were split up?" Jasper inquired. "Well, according to Faith, Angela and Gwen were sent to live with an overly religious family. The couple who adopted them preferred adopting siblings because, according to them, it helped the children acclimate to their new surroundings if they had someone else there they were comfortable with." "That makes sense. How many kids did that couple adopt and over how many years? Do you know?" "I have no idea. Faith didn't tell me, and I didn't ask. But what she did tell me was that the family that adopted them was actually part of a polygamous cult. They brainwashed the children into believing they were existing in a more meaningful life, and everyone in the compound was family. How was a polygamous cult able to adopt so many children? They weren't technically doing anything illegal. They only had one marriage that was recognized by the state. The other marriages were only recognized by their church, I explained. They aren't really much of a family if they're living in a polygamous lifestyle. It would be mostly incest, right? Jasper wondered. Not necessarily. The women were ordered to have one child each year until they could no longer reproduce. After that, they would have to adopt two or more children each time one is married off. Most of the biological children were arranged to be married to the adopted children. So every time one child in the house is old enough to be married, each woman in the household adopts two or more children. Something like that. I guess it's their way of growing the compound with fresh members rather than converting adults who could potentially run off and spread lies. How old are the children when they are married off? Angela was 18 when she was married to one of the elders, and when Gwen turned 18, she married the same guy. How many kids do you think are in the same house at one time? I'm sure that they have between 10 to 15 kids per mother figure at one time in each house. In reference to that, it depends on how many wives the guy has. Do you think those people we met on our honeymoon are her children? I think they're members of the cult, not necessarily Angela's children. Did Amber tell you what Angela wants with you? Jasper quizzed. According to Faith, Amber told her that Angela wants me to join the cult. She thinks I'm marked by the devil and I need to be saved before I end up with the devil's spawn. Her words, not mine, I informed him. Why would Angela be interested in you now, years later, if y'all haven't seen or spoken to each other since you were 6? He asked. There are a lot of reasons I can speculate, but I'm not sure exactly. Well, let's start with one reason and I'll try to find a loophole. Okay. Well, number one, she told me to keep my mouth shut about the foster mother and not talk about the abuse. But the other children wanted out. She was only bitter because she didn't want to be separated from Gwen. She was bonded to Gwen and felt the need to protect her, I told him. Technically, you didn't say anything, right? He asked. Not really. I just got mouthy with the foster mother until she beat me so badly the other children helped me run away and and we were all saved from the home. But they weren't separated. No, they went to the same house. So what's the next one? Well, the foster home they were sent to was part of a cult. If she's bitter about the whole cult thing and now she wants revenge? Oh, what if she's bitter about the whole cult thing and now she wants revenge? Yeah, I guess I could see why she's mad at you. You sent her to go live with a cult. That's it. You're screwed. There's nothing we can do, Jasper said sarcastically. All right. Well, I guess I should just give up and go with her, I laughed. But first, I need to lay down for a minute. All of a sudden, the room felt as though it were swirling around me. I started seeing black spots, and my stomach felt as though someone was jumping up and down on it like a trampoline. I stood from the chair and began stepping toward the bed. My equilibrium was off, so I fell face first into the mattress and slid down the side of the bed and onto the floor. Jasper quickly sprang up out of the bed and immediately scooped me up into his arms and placed me into a lying position on the bed. I laid as still as I could to avoid the spinning feeling. My husband placed his hand on my forehead as though he was checking to see if I had a fever. He pulled his hand away, lightly pressed his lips to my head, then walked over to the dresser to put on a shirt and change out the shorts he wore to bed. He chose a pair of his casual shorts, then decided on an outfit for me. He retrieved one of my camisoles and a pair of my sweatpants in order to assist me with getting dressed easily. Placing the clothes on for me, Placing the clothes for me on the foot of the bed, he walked over to the large oversized chair to put his socks on. Mac, sweetie, I'm going to help you change out of your night clothes and I'm going to take you to the hospital. Are you okay with that? Jasper requested my consent. Is it absolutely necessary for me to go to the hospital? I asked, confused. Yes, it's necessary for you to go to the hospital. You weren't feeling right yesterday. You slept for 10 hours and now you practically passed out. We're going to catch what is wrong with you early before it gets any worse. I guess, but I didn't technically pass out because I didn't lose consciousness, I told him. I felt as though everything was happening in slow motion as he removed my pajama pants and slid on my sweatpants. I barely moved as he tried to dress me. Are you able to sit up to change your shirt? Possibly, with assistance. Just be slow about it. Jasper placed one hand on the back of my neck and slowly assisted me to sit up, bending at the waist. My body felt heavy and my body felt heavy and my hands, foot, and back were tingling. The black spots in my line of sight had been joined with white spots, and they danced in my vision. At that point, I don't remember my shirt being changed or being taken out to the car. The next thing I remember was opening my eyes and seeing Jasper standing over me with a huge grin on his face. I looked around and realized I was laying in a hospital bed. What happened? I asked Jasper. Well, your eyes were open, but you were unresponsive when I was changing your shirt. I was able to get you into a standing position and helped you to my car. By the time we made it to the hospital, you were completely out, and I had to have a nurse bring out a wheelchair to help me get you inside, he explained. Okay, so why are you smiling so big? What is wrong with me that you think is so funny? Well, first, they were able to determine that you were dehydrated, so they attached a line of fluids. They also believe that what you were experiencing was a stress related panic attack, but there is something else they were able to find, he said, with a bounce in his step as he rounded the bed to the other side. Oh my God, what is it? I insisted. You're pregnant. Wait, what? I said, the corners of my mouth curled up and the muscles in my cheeks tightened. Jasper wrapped his arms around me. My heart felt so full. Tears emerged from my eyes and rolled down my cheeks. It's still early, so we have to keep it to ourselves for a while, Jasper informed me. How the hell am I supposed to do that? I have to tell Jillian and Charlotte, and I want to inform Faith, I said. Okay, slow down. First of all, the doctor said that you are still in the miscarriage window. So it is hard if you tell people too early, then have to go back and tell them you lost it. Wow, way to ruin a mood. I went from excitement to an intense feeling of fear. I placed my hands on my belly and remembered the sadness when I had lost my twins. I knew they had been conceived from hateful and sick reasons, but they were growing inside me and I felt a connection with them. I may not have really wanted the twins, but this baby was made from love, and I wanted this baby. I can see the hurt in your eyes. I know what you are thinking. Don't think about it too much. Just take care of yourself, and the rest of us will keep you safe from danger. Nothing unnatural will happen to our baby, Jasper assured me. I didn't mention what Amber had said to me about Jasper to him because I wanted to hold on to that information, knowing that if I talked to him about our past, I would be able to come to my own conclusion of whether or not he is who I know him to be. What up? Love on her side. Um, well, of course, you can tell by the context clues of the way that she felt. Although if I came out and he's standing there smiling over her bed and he goes, "You've got cancer." I mean, that would be awful. I'm just saying. Of course she's pregnant. She's gonna have a baby with the man, right? Especially with the man she loves, or at least she claims to love. She gotta have a baby with the man she thinks she loves. What up, Dougie? You're late, but it's okay. Mm. Well, at this point, she's confused because of what she was told. Come on, Christy Jorgensen. She's trying to figure it out. She's trying to figure it out. She doesn't know. And why am I seeing little hearts? Another psychopath baby, right? I just saw these little hearts pop up, just like they do on. We all trying to figure it out. I know, right? But it looked like TikTok. Look, see? Ooh, there's little hearts popping up. Somebody figured out the tapping. Oh, that's funny. It looks like TikTok. Ew. Who figured that one out? Now I see other reactions. That's so weird. What is that? Y'all are so funny. What is this? What does that do? Oh, playables. Oh, I can stream a game. Neat. Okay. Alrighty. 16. Let's have Jasper be a good guy. I know, right? Jasper has to be the good guy. The last couple of days. That's the funny part of him, isn't it? That is funny. That is funny. Um, hey, he could be a good guy, Christy Jorgensen. You never know. There's a heart. It pulls up a menu. Oh, and you just tap that. Okay, anybody want to tap the screen? Camaro has figured it out. There you go. Camaro's figured out the TikTok strategy on YouTube's. What is that? Oh, that's why that little thingy pops up every so often. All right. All right, chapter 16. We've got 16, 17, and 18, and then I'm done for the night. And it's almost 10 o'clock already. All right. The hospital staff forced me to eat and drink at least 2 bottles of water before I was released from the hospital to go home. I wanted to be excited about the baby, but with all the tragedy I had faced, it was more fear than excitement. I know, right? Exactly, Lemur. When we arrived back to the center, Charlotte and Jillian were waiting in the reception area with the foster kids. The kids ran up to us and the 14 of us embraced as a group. Are you doing okay? Lavender asked. I'm okay. I was just dehydrated and hungry. I do think I would like some tea, though, I said. The children all ran off to the kitchen. I stepped up to the reception desk to get closer to Charlotte and Jillian. I have some news, Jillian said. Why didn't you say anything before? We've been standing here for over an hour waiting for them to get back, and you didn't tell me about any news, Charlotte pouted. I wanted to wait for Kenzie and tell you both at the same time, Jillian informed. Okay, just tell us what it is, I said. I'm pregnant, Jillian said, beaming. What? That's wonderful, I said, wrapping my arms around her neck and biting my lower lip. Okay, well, for me, it's still a little early, but me too, Charlotte announced. The three of us just sort of stared at each other for a moment, as if they were waiting for me to reveal some big news as well. Seeing as Charlotte and Jillian had just announced they are pregnant together, I figured I might as well chime in with my news. Ladies, me too. I was overworking my body and not drinking enough water. Plus, I had slept through dinner last night, so I was hungry with a little person inside me taking all my nutrients. I passed out. I was informed at the hospital. I said, beaming at them both. Charlotte and Jillian squealed like teenage girls at a boy band concert. As the children emerged from the kitchen, I tried to shush my sisters. I didn't want my foster children to know about the baby yet. Lavender walked up to me and produced a cup of tea. Thank you. I really appreciate that, I said, taking the cup from her and sipping. You weren't supposed to say anything yet, Jasper said as he stepped up behind me and wrapped his arms around my waist. I know, but I couldn't help it, I told him. What happened? Kendall asked. Nothing, sweetie. Hey, kids, how about y'all go outside and play while the grown-ups talk? I requested. Yes, let the grown-ups talk, Lavender said, shooing the kids toward the door. Lavender, you too, I said as she turned back to us. I'm 18. That means I'm now one of the grown-ups, she argued. I would agree with that normally, but I need to discuss something with my sisters before I discuss it with you kids, okay? I told Lavender as gently as I could without invalidating her feelings. Fine, but we can discuss my place here at the center later. Oh, but can we discuss my place here at the center later? I would like to be treated more like an adult with y'all rather than being lumped in with the other children. Lavender huffed before walking away. I'm just shocked the three of us are pregnant together. Isn't that exciting? I said, leaning back against Jasper's chest. How far along are you? Charlotte asked. Medically speaking, 4 weeks. Scientifically speaking, 2 weeks, I said, rolling my eyes. I know what you mean. I don't understand how they can start from before conception if the baby didn't technically start forming until 2 to 3 weeks after their start date. But whatever. This is so exciting, Jillian said. Technically, each month is one cycle. That cycle begins and ends in 28 days for most women. You have 9 of those cycles when you're pregnant, and out pops a baby, Charlotte explained, thankfully G rated as the children came running into the room. It doesn't matter. We are having a party today, and things are going to start getting delivered soon. Let's get ready to have some fun, I said, changing the subject so the children didn't hear our conversation. I was only hiding the fact that I was pregnant from my foster children because I wanted to approach the subject gently, not wanting any of the children to feel as though they were being replaced. I wanted to sit down with them and answer any questions they may have. A truck just showed up with the bounce house, Zarabella said, jumping up and down in front of me. That means it's almost time. Y'all go upstairs and change into something to go down the water slide in, I told them. The children cheered and rushed off upstairs to get ready for the planned festivities. I stayed behind with Charlotte, Jillian, and Jasper. I wanted to know how close together our pregnancies were. So, how far along are you two? I wondered. I'm 8 weeks, Charlotte said. I just hit 12 weeks, Jillian said. Each of you are still too early to be announcing your pregnancies, Jasper pointed out. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I wanted to tell my sisters, Jillian said, tears pooling in her eyes. I wanted to share after Jillian said something, and I'm pretty sure Mackenzie felt the same way after the two of us spoke up, Charlotte told Jasper. Okay, well, I'm going to leave you ladies to talk about baby stuff. Don't forget about the party, Jasper said, kissing me on the cheek and then heading up the stairs. Jillian, Charlotte, and I stood in the reception area, clucking like high school girls about how fun it was going to be with the three of us pregnant at the same time and having our babies close together. Charlotte struggled with infertility for years before pushing the stress aside and deciding if it happens, it happens. Jillian and Mark wanted to plan it out with charts and statistics along with a baby budget. Jasper and I weren't even sure we could get pregnant after Malachi cut the twins out. Either way, the three of us were so happy to be able to share this special milestone in our lives. Hmm. uh, Check it out. Look at these people with all these XP points. You all got XP points. What? Hello, Sting. I don't know what you're talking about, but okie dokie. Okay. Who the fuck are you? Okay. I'm just kidding. All right. Chapter 17. We got two more to go. Got two more to go. I don't know. This was like, okay, whatever. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Are you maybe in the wrong live? Are you just randomly saying shit? Anyway, 17. Moving on. Someone just to come in and say stupid shit like they do on TikTok. All right. You missed half the chapter. Well, Christy Jorgensen, the three of them have all basically said they're all pregnant. And then they were just talking about being pregnant. They're getting ready to have the party. There you go. That's the chapter. Maybe you should get a new phone. How old is your phone? That's the question. How old is your phone? Is it new? Is it old? All of the girls, Charlotte, Jillian, and Mackenzie. We need to go back to how all three are pregnant. Tell Mr. Jorgensen. Okay, I'll send him a message. Excuse me, sir. Get your wife a new phone. Or give her money so she can go get a new phone herself. Okay. 17. We don't have much left to go. Yeah. When the caterer showed up for the party and several other vendors were right behind, Charlotte and Jillian escorted them to their staging areas as I went upstairs to change my clothes. When Jasper and I came back down to the reception area, most of the guests, along with their children, were creating a bustle in the front of the center. I realized there were four mothers surrounding my 12 foster children, who were huddled together in a group. Jenny was wagging her finger as she was practically towering over the young children. Lavender stood between Jenny and the other 11 children, in an attempt to shield the others from the poisonous words coming from the woman's mouth. Excuse me, what is going on here? I asked Jenny as I sat between the children and the venomous hate. Kensington wrapped his arms around my waist, resting his head on my shoulder, trembling. I wrapped my arms around his shoulders. Jasper requested the three other women to join him over near the reception desk. You're rejects. We're talking about how the party was for them and no one else was invited. I was just setting them straight, Jenny spat. We never said anything like that. We were talking about the activities and how much fun it was to plan and choose what we got to do, Evelina explained with tears streaming down her face. Jenny, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ban you from the party, I told her. Ugh, Mom! Jenny's children whined simultaneously. Jessica, Jasmine, and Jimmy are all welcome to join us because I don't believe in punishing the children for their parents' actions. After the party, you and I will be discussing whether you are able to stay here, I told her. I turned my back toward Jenny and began ushering the children out toward the garden area where the bouncy house was being set up. Jenny didn't appreciate what I said to her, so she felt as though she needed the upper hand and shouted at me. Don't worry, I will be gone before the party is over, and my kids will not be attending, Jenny said, grabbing her children and pushing them up the stairs. Her three children argued with her about how unfair it was that they wouldn't be able to participate, and she yelled, Life isn't fair, as they went into their assigned room. I took the children in I took the children into one of the therapy rooms. What happened? I asked them. We were sitting at the bottom of the stairs talking about how much fun it was to help plan and prepare for the party when Jenny and her kids were coming down. Jenny told us it was rude that we felt the need to brag about getting a party just for us when there are other children at the center. When I started explaining to her that the party was for everyone, she started yelling at me that I was being disrespectful, and just because we were rejects, and didn't have a real family, we should still respect grown-ups, Lavender explained. We are your family. For all of you. Jasper, Charlotte, Jillian, and I are all your family. And none of you are rejects. We chose each and every one of you to be in our lives. Jenny has had a life filled with people telling her what to do. We need to be understanding of her situation. If we don't understand her actions, Even if we don't understand her actions, I will talk to her and make sure she understands that she cannot speak to any of you that way again. so none of you have to endure her hate speech. I love and adore you all in your own unique ways and hope you all continue to grow into the wonderful adults I know you can be. Were any of the other ladies saying anything to y'all that upset you, or was it just Jenny? I reassured my foster children. The other ladies were trying to stop her. Mary Henson was the first to come over and tell her to stop, Lavender told me. Most of the girls were crying, and the other children were doing their best to comfort them. Lavender was visibly shaken by the interaction, but being the oldest, she was holding it together pretty well. Well, let's not let one person ruin our day. If anyone needs cuddles or just wants to talk about what happened, both Jasper and I are here for you for anything you need, I told them, with Kensington still holding on to me for dear life. Evelina and Zarabella were the first to come over to me for cuddles and reassurance. And Kensington stepped around me, his arms still wrapped around my waist, but my arms were free to hug the others' children, to hug the others. I was kind of hoping that Jenny would still be around after the party so I could discuss with her how inappropriate her actions were. I know, Zarabella whispered in my ear before placing her hand over my abdomen. Zarabella glared over at Evelina. Evelina kissed me on the cheek, wiped the tears from her face, and skipped off to join the other children. I turned in order to spin Kensington back around in front of me before sitting down on a chair in the room. I brought Zarabella over and had her stand in front of me next to Kensington. My sweet king, is it okay if I have a moment alone with Zarabella? I promise Lavender will keep you safe while I'm not with you, I asked, nodding at Lavender, who stood in the doorway. Okay, Mommy, Kensington agreed, before slowly stepping toward Lavender, but continuing to look over his shoulder at me. What do you know? I asked Zarabella after Jasper had ushered all of the other children out of the room. I know about your baby. I'm happy for you and Jasper to have your own baby, she told me. How do you know about that? I asked her, wondering if she had special psychic abilities. I overheard you with Miss Charlotte and Miss Jillian. She smiled from ear to ear. You sneaky snake. Do the other kids know? I wondered. Nope, your secret is safe with me. Until you tell them, of course, she said. Zarabella grabbed my hand and pulled my arm for me to stand up. I stood, and she led me out to the gardens where the party was set up. The other children were already playing. She walked over she walked me over to where Jasper was standing, let go of my hand, wrapped her arms around his waist and hugged him. Where Jasper was standing. Okay. When she pulled away, she smiled up at him, then waved at us before running off to go play with the other children. Hey, it's so great to see the children having fun, Charlotte said as her and Jillian approached. We had a slight hiccup this morning, but I think everything is okay now. Unfortunately, Jasper, we may have to set up a little bed in our room for Kensington tonight. Jenny's actions today may have caused a setback, I informed them as we walked over and sat down. Oh no, what happened? Jillian asked, concerned. Jenny Montgomery happened, I said. Oh, good grief. Was she bullying the kids in order to make them feel bad about themselves so she could feel superior? Charlotte questioned, rolling her eyes. Isn't that what she does? I said. Exactly. No one can measure up to how perfect her spawn are, Jillian commented. Even though her children are just as vicious and vindictive as she is, Charlotte added. Children only mimic what they see. I feel bad for them since their only role model is a raving bitch, I said. I think that woman is a twat, Charlotte said, using her colorful words. Can we please be a little less vulgar when there are children present? Jillian requested, wrapping her arms around her belly. Your baby still has a tail. I'm sure it can't hear yet, Charlotte told her. Okay, ladies, calm down, a small voice said from behind us. We turned to see Matthew Kirkland approaching. The three of us applauded as he strutted towards us. How's my favorite little man? I said as he hugged me. Well, living the dream of being surrounded by beautiful women, he said, making his way around the table. For only being 5 years old, Matthew was pretty suave and debonair. We believed he was an old soul due to his demeanor and some of the things he said. Looking good, ladies. Keep it up, he said before heading over to join the other children in the bounce house. Most of the other guests had come out to join us with their children. Shortly after the interaction with Matthew, Kensington came running over to be crying. At first, I thought he had fallen and hurt himself, but once I realized he didn't appear injured, I was concerned. My baby king, what's wrong? I asked him as he fell into my embrace. All he did was point in the direction of a group of kids. My foster children were standing in the middle of a circle with other children from the center surrounding them. There were three children in particular that were being overly aggressive. Jasper, can you please find out what's going on over there? I asked him as Kensington attempted to climb on my lap like a toddler. Jasper sauntered over and a couple of kids tried to run off, but Tom and Mark walked up with Jasper and stopped them from fleeing. As the men talked to the group of children, they began allowing the children to run off to play, except the three who were being aggressive. Jasper, Tom, and Mark perp walked the three children over to me. Once they were close enough, I was able to see they were Jenny's kids. Kensington, what happened? I asked him, cupping my hands around his face as the men brought up the three children. They're mean, he said, burying his face into my neck. Kensington, being 15, was having a difficult time trying to curl up on my lap. Whenever he was upset, he wanted to sit on my lap as I held him. The poor, sweet boy just wanted to feel love and acceptance, and I was willing to make sure he got what he wanted. He wouldn't be able to climb up into my lap when I was when I would be in my third trimester, but I'm sure that the two of us would figure something out. I know that Kensington would probably live at the center his entire life, but I hoped that he would grow out of his phase of climbing into my lap. What are y'all doing here? I thought your mother was packing all of you up to leave. I wanted to know. Our mother told us we could come out here while she figured out where we would go from here because you were kicking us out, Jessica said, with her arms crossed over her chest as she rolled her eyes at me. I'm not kicking y'all out. I just told your mother that if she is unhappy here at the center, she can leave whenever she wants. I told her as I rocked back and forth with a very upset Kensington on my lap. That's not what you said. You told her that you wanted to talk to her about leaving. Jasmine snapped at me. Look, I'm not going to discuss that with you children, but if you don't have a place to go, y'all are more than welcome to stay here. There is no reason for the three of you to bully the other children. If I have to, I will separate the three of you from your mother, and y'all will not be able to communicate with each other. It is very apparent that your attitude is based on what your mother tells you. How about the three of you become your own people and stop allowing your mother to control your opinions of others? Now, if the three of you would like to join in with the other kids and have fun, you are more than welcome. If you cause any more trouble, you'll be told to go to your room. I informed them. You can't punish us, Jimmy mouthed off. Try me, I said, raising my eyebrows at them. The three of them just agreed after that and ran off to join in on the fun. I patted Kensington on his leg and he stood up off my lap. He understood that he was too big for me to hold him for too long, but his attachment to me would create a toddler mindset in him when he was upset. He sat down on the ground in front of me and placed his head in my lap. Are you okay now, sweetie? I asked him. I okay. I stay here or go play now, he said. My sweet king, if you want to go play, you can go play, I told him. He stood up and ran off, heading over to where his foster siblings were playing. Tom and Mark joined us at the table while Jasper slipped inside. I didn't know where he was going, but he was free to go inside if he wanted, so I didn't think anything of it. We're going to need to talk to Jenny. She can't keep telling her kids bad things about us, then expect to continue to live here. Of course, we aren't going to force them out onto the street either, Jillian said. I will contact a few shelters to see if they have room before we tell her she needs to go. I couldn't live with myself if I thought those kids were living in her car, I told them. Those kids are assholes. But of course, having an asshole for a mother doesn't help, Charlotte chimed in. Charlotte, you can't blame the kids when the mother is the one causing them to act the way they do. Jenny is the main contributing factor for her children's attitude toward everyone. She's the reason Jimmy takes things from the other children, then walks away proud of himself. I told her. I'm sure Jenny is a narcissist. Jessica is getting to that age where she will start to influence the younger two, just like her mother. I wonder if she does the same thing with the family members, Jillian said. You think Jenny talks shit about her family to her kids? Charlotte asked. Could be possible. Why would she come to the center instead of going to stay with family when she left her abusive husband? Jillian commented. That's true. When she first got here, didn't her mother and sister visit? It was sparingly, but they visited. And now they don't come by anymore. Of course, narcissists prefer others to be miserable in order for them to be happy, I commented. That's right. I remember her sister saying good luck one time on her way out shortly before her mother left, Jillian said. Sounds to me as though she is just an all around problem, Charlotte said. That's all we need is another Wendy Mason, Jillian said, rolling her eyes. Better that than another Amber, Charlotte told us. Amber's been contacting me, I told them. What the fuck? Charlotte said. Just before I was able to explain, Jasper had returned and a few of the mothers came over to our table. Thank you so much for doing this. The kids are having a great time, Mary Henson told me. You are so welcome. The kids deserve a little fun, I told her. Can you please talk with Jenny's kids? They're harassing and bullying some of the other children, Georgina said. Georgina was 24 with an 18-month-old little boy named Georgie. When she tragically lost her husband, it became a domino effect of loss. She lost her income, she lost her home, and her husband's family basically cut her off from the family. Her husband's family was trying to take Georgie away from Georgina once she became homeless. She was assigned a social worker in order to assist her with being able to keep her child while she mourned the loss of her husband and basically her lifestyle. We took her in at the center in order to protect her and her child from living on the streets. Again? Guys, you're up, I told them. Tom, Mark, and Jasper stood up and headed out to find the troublemakers. I am so sorry. I just spoke with them when they were causing trouble with my kids. They're going inside now, and we won't have to worry about them again, I reassured them. Is there any way we can have a center meeting with all the grown-ups to talk and talk to Jenny? That way we can voice our concerns directly to her, Mary suggested. Ugh. Jasper, Tom, and Mark arrived with Jessica, Jasmine, and Jimmy in tow. The three children were protesting about being pulled away from the fun. What did I tell you three not even an hour ago? I asked. Look, when one kid is going to act stupid, we're going to call him out on that, Jasmine responded, folding her arms across her chest. Yeah, you got to tell them they're stupid because they're too stupid to know they're stupid, Jimmy said. Shut up, Jimmy. You're stupid, Jessica joined in. Okay, that's enough. This was supposed to be something fun for you kids, but the three of you are making it difficult for the other children to have fun. The guys are going to escort you to your room and talk to your mother about your behavior, I told them. Mark, Tom, and Jasper took the children inside, and the other mothers thanked me, then walked away to watch their children. I turned back to my sisters, who were keeping an eye on Kensington. He was sitting in the grass with Evelina and Zarabella. The three of them had a ball pit. The three of them had a ball from the ball pit. They were tossing back and forth. Oh, had a ball from the ball pit. Okay. I love how sweet those three are to each other, Jillian said. They are the most sibling. They are the most sibling like of the bunch, other than Lily, Rose, and Lavender, of course, Charlotte said. One good thing about all the foster children here is that they look out for each other, I said. A shrill scream came ringing out from the inside of the center. Jessica, Jasmine, and Jimmy came running out with the three guys trailing behind. A tail. uh, Capri Sun. See, now, Carrie, I don't really care too much for a Capri Sun. I think it's just me. Yes, when they're little zygotes, they have tails. Oh, yeah, those kids are assholes. Oh, by the way, so just to make everyone aware, Jenny is modeled after Thunder Cunt, and the other 3 children are modeled after 3 of our children. So when I say I hate her little boy, that's literally yeah. So there you go. Y'all wanna know what Thunder Cunt is like? Yes, I've done that twice. I mean, the last time I did that, she was fed to people. This time, we're gonna find out, so let's read chapter 18. Charlotte, Jillian, and I stood up and stepped up to our husbands. The 3 children fell to the ground crying as they huddled together. What happened? I asked Jasper. You need to call Lee, Tom said. What happened? Jillian repeated. We will take care of this. Y'all go do what you need to do, Mary said, walking up to the 3 other moms who crouched down next to Jenny's children. Charlotte, Jillian, and I rushed inside behind Tom, Mark, and Jasper, with the guys several steps ahead of us. They stopped outside of Jenny's room, waiting for us to catch up. Once we were standing with the guys outside the closed door, Jasper prepared us for what we were going to see. It's not as bad as Wendy, but it's bad, Jasper said before turning the knob and swinging the door open. Jenny Montgomery was hanging from a rope that had been coiled around the ceiling fan and tied to one of the foot of the bed. The other end was tied into a noose and wrapped tightly around her neck. There was bruising around her neck. Her eyes were frozen in a look of terror. Lips had turned blue, and she had been disemboweled. Her entrails had been pulled completely out of her abdomen and piled neatly on the floor just below her swinging corpse. Please tell me her children did not see this, I said as my legs buckled underneath me and I fell to the floor sobbing. Tom shut the door as Charlotte and Jillian screamed, turning away from the gruesome sight and into the arms of their husbands. Jasper knelt down next to me and wrapped his arms around me in comfort. Just a quick glimpse before Mark stepped between them and the scene be- between them and the scene and shut the door. Tom said, hold on. Just a glimpse before Mark stepped between them and the scene and shut the door, Tom said as he embraced his sobbing wife. Okay, wait, I said, wiping the moisture from my face with my shirt. Jasper assisted me to my feet. Tears continued streaming down my face, as well as Charlotte Jillian sobbing uncontrollably. I was having trouble gathering my thoughts. This is a crime scene. We need to keep the guests and Jenny's children away from it. I need to call Faith. Someone help me call Faith. She will know what to do. I was shaking, sniffling, and trying to blink away the tears. I pulled my cell phone out of my pocket and handed it to Jasper. He dialed the number saved into my phone under Faith's name. Jasper turned and walked away in order to get away from the sound of Charlotte, Jillian, and me sobbing uncontrollably. The 3 of us embraced. How could this how could this have even happened? Charlotte wondered, placing her hand over the lower half of her face, tears placing her hand over the lower half of her face, tears moistening her cheeks. I can't even figure out how someone would have done this without noticing, Jillian mentioned, with one hand placed across her forehead. The person who did this would have been covered in blood as they left. That is, if it was an outsider and not someone who lives here at the center, Mark said. Even if they live here at the center, the person who did this would have been covered in blood, Tom corrected. I know that, but they wouldn't have been caught leaving covered in blood. If someone who lives here at the center did this, they would have been able to clean up before being seen, which means it will be harder to find the suspect, Mark clarified. All right, Faith. All right. Faith says that everyone needs to get away from the room. Y'all head back to the party, and Mackenzie and I will meet y'all out there later, Jasper told them, ushering my sisters and their husbands away from the room. Jasper wrapped his arms around me, trying to help calm me down. It wasn't helping due to my hormones on high alert, but I appreciated the comfort. I felt as though Jenny's children could be traumatized by the sight of their mother's swinging body. I have to go. We need to get away from the room. I can't stand here anymore, I told Jasper, pulling away from him and rushing down the stairs to the reception area. Jasper slowly stepped down the stairs as I again fell to the floor in front of the reception desk. I placed my hands on the floor in front of me and began hyperventilating. As Jasper rubbed my back, I gagged several times before the entire contents of my stomach decided to evacuate. After heaving several times, I leaned back and sat on my foot, with my prosthetic leg straight out in front of me, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand. My face throbbed, and I was breathing heavily. As Jasper walked toward the front doors to wait for the police, the center security guard, Damien, stopped the golf cart he was driving at the front doors. Damien stood at 6 foot 2 inches and had a rippling body. He approached me when we were preparing the center for guests and asked to be the security guard. We took him to the police station and had a full background check done, and he was completely clean. He's a single man whose mother and raised him and his brother right. Damien worked 15-hour shifts of his own accord, and the overnight shift is handled by his brother. Derek, who is basically built just like him, he noticed Jasper standing there and saw me on the floor with a puddle of vomit in front of me. "Is everything okay?" Damien asked as he poked his head into the center. "The police are on their way. We have an issue. We have had an issue inside the center and have had to contact the authorities. When they arrive, will you please direct them inside?" Jasper said. "I can do that," Damien told Jasper before turning toward me. "You okay, Miss Tully?" "She's fine. We just had a situation. Do you know who that van belongs to?" Jasper asked. "I've never seen it before," Damien responded. "What van? Where?" I asked, standing. I rubbed my face with my hands, took a deep breath, and walked over toward the front doors. I peered out into the parking lot and spotted the white paneled van at the far end. I've been keeping an eye on it. It parked there a couple of hours ago, and I haven't seen anyone get in or out of it, Damien said. "I will stay here and keep an eye on the van. I'll do my grounds check after the police arrive," Damien said. "Thank you, Damien. You, I don't know why it does that twice. Uh, you are definitely a valued member of the faculty here at the center," I told him. "Would you like me to contact the housekeeping company to have someone come clean that up in the front reception area?" Damien asked. "No, thank you. I will take care of it," I responded, turning and heading toward the janitorial closet. "I'll be right here out front if you need anything, Miss Tully," Damien said. "Like I said, she's fine. Just send the police in when they get here," Jasper said, walking away from the front doors. Jasper headed upstairs as I proceeded to mop up my vomit off the floor in front of the reception desk. From the time that Jasper and I got married, he seemed to have changed. Charlotte and Jillian had noticed it before the honeymoon, and I had definitely noticed it as soon as we got back. Once the reception area was clean and I returned the mop and water bucket to the janitorial closet, I stepped down the hall where the door to the party was located. We wanted to make sure none of the guests from outside were coming in to peek at the body. We might want to hire a couple more security guys to have one out front and one walking the grounds all the time. It's a lot of pressure to have one during the day and one at night. The building is too large to only have one security guard to patrol each of the doors through the 12-hour period. Certain entrances are unmanned more times than they are being watched, I suggested when Jasper met me down the back hallway. "Well, considering we now have two bodies on our roster, we probably should hire more security," Jasper agreed. "What do you think would be best? Just one extra during the day and one extra at night?" "I'm wondering if it would be best to hire three more during the day and three more at night. That way, we have four security guards at all times. But I believe it would be best to get Damon's opinion about the extra guards. Unfortunately, if history repeats itself, whoever is behind this will come after me next, I said. You shouldn't assume that this is a warning for you. Besides, I'm not letting you out of my sight until that baby is born. I saw the underlying message. Don't get me wrong, but no one besides your family knows you're pregnant. There's no reason to assume the worst, but stay on guard, Jasper reassured me, wrapping his arms around my waist. I'm only taking this as a warning because of what Amber said. Plus, that white paneled van is what she told me was following her, I explained. You think the people in that van are here to abduct you? I don't know, but I'm more afraid now that I'm pregnant to be alone for any reason. I hope Faith gets here soon, I said as we headed back up to the front of the center. As soon as I spoke, we saw several police cars and Faith's unmarked FBI vehicle swung swung into the parking lot and stopped right outside the front door. They exited their vehicles, some leaving their car their car doors open. I was thankful they didn't have their sirens blaring so they wouldn't alert any of the guests at the party. I watched out the window as Damien approached several officers and motioned toward the van in the far back corner of the lot. Faith, along with several other officers, rushed straight for the front doors. Holy shit, Mackenzie, are you all right? Faith asked the second she was through the door. I'm okay for now. This is horrible, especially for her children. Oh no, I need to contact her mother and sister. Hopefully, they will be willing to take Jenny's children, I said as Faith embraced me. Who all has seen the body? Faith asked as she pulled away, but held my hand. Jenny's children were bullying the other kids, so Tom, Mark, and I were taking them back to their room to be dealt with by their mother. That's when we found her. We brought the children back outside and took Charlotte, Jillian, and Mackenzie to see, Jasper explained. Why would you take them up to see the body? It's a crime scene, not a sideshow. Did anyone go into the room? Faith wanted to know. No, we only stood in the doorway. We immediately removed the children from the scene, and no one else wanted to compromise the crime scene, Jasper told her. Can you show me to the room? Faith requested, kissing the back of my hand, then leading the way upstairs. I'm going to have Jasper take you to the room, and I'm going to check on everyone outside. I just want to make sure that Jessica, Jasmine, and Jimmy are okay, I said, letting go of her hand on the third step. Wait, take an officer with you. I don't want you to be alone, Faith suggested, concerned. I'll be fine. I'm just going out that door, right there. You can see the door from where we are standing, I said, pointing down the hall. Kenzie, there are three other doors down that hall where someone could be hiding. They could just pop out and grab you. Jasper voiced his concern. You don't want to alarm the guests. Jasper, you take her outside and make sure there are people with her. Then come back. I'll wait, Lee said. Yay, the weird old witch is dead. Capri Suns. I don't it could have something to do with the fact that I got them so much when I was a kid. I don't know. I get grown-up drinks now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yes, the Wicked Witch is dead. Ding dong, the Wicked Witch. Witch all witch, the Wicked Witch. Ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead. And now we wait for tomorrow. Wake up, you sleepy heads, rub your eyes, get out of bed. Miranda, that is so random and that is funny. I know. I know. Now you just get to hear about I don't want to wait though. Hey, you can always buy the book and read it yourself. I mean, you're not going to get it by tomorrow, but I mean, there's always that option. Like Miranda, if she decided she didn't want to wait, she could read it. You do know that it's 11:30 your time, right, Miranda? Speaking of which, I need to get me some chips. Camaro. Yep. That's it. That's it for today. But tomorrow is chapter 19 through, it looks like 29. Shit. Yeah, through 29. You didn't cook your dinner, Miranda? What? What? I thought that's all you did. All you ever did was cook your own food. I could see Miranda being that person to have chickens on her property and then just going, I really want some fresh chicken. Don't worry, I got the chicken. As she plucking others out of it. Your husband made it. I'm telling you, I could see you do that. Living on a farm. Damn it, we're out of milk. Gotta go down to the cows. I bet you got a butter churn too, don't you? You got a butter churn? Put some milk in there. Just that's how I see Miranda. I see her with a butter churn. Go out to the cows. Get that fresh chicken. Summertime, they get a turkey and they raise that turkey and they name him Tom. And then when November comes around, it's like, oh, it's almost time for Thanksgiving. Okay, bye, Tom. Oh, okay, so you'd have a goat. That's what you would have. You'd have a goat. My mom refuses to drink goat's milk because that's all she ever got as a kid. And she said it's disgusting. She says goat's milk is disgusting. I just saw her poke her head out and then it just went bloop. She's so tired. She just like comes out of that little thing. She just saw her out of the Mm. Well, you probably like it because you're allergic to cow's milk. So you like goat's milk. My mom, on the other hand, is not, and she's had both. So she prefers cow over goat. She also will never eat anything that is labeled as roadkill. So she will not go to a restaurant if they serve anything that is referred to as roadkill because her mother used to go out and not really her mother, her brothers. Her mom would send her brothers out to gather dinner sometimes for the meat. She's had squirrel and rabbit and possum and raccoons and yeah. They literally lived in upstate New York on a farm. Yeah. Gather the meat. Oh, see, now if she has read the final copy. She refused to read the what you call it? She refused to beta read for me. That was an absolutely not. She would not beta read for me for Roadkill Cafe. Because of the character she Corning and Rochester is where my parents came from. But, yeah, she wouldn't read it because the one character that is similar to Thundercunt, my mother could very visibly see that it resembled Thundercunt, so she refused until I changed it, so I changed a little bit. It still resembles Thundercunt. But yes, my parents come from Corning and Rochester. And as a matter of fact, yeah, no. The fact that my mother could tell, I mean, I told her with this book, I said, if it offends her in any way with the way that I portrayed that character named Jenny, I would change the name. Haha, nice. Hey, I got a question though. Not sure where it is, but my mother used to work at a pizza place. Of course, grant this was back in the 60s, 70s, somewhere around there, right? And way back in the 1900s, um, so she worked at this pizza place called Pudgy's. Not sure where exactly in New York it is located, but she worked at a pizza place named Pudgy's. That is where she met my dad because my dad was a cop at the time. So he went into Pudgy's to talk to the pretty lady behind the counter. If you want to hear that creepy story, she was 19 and my dad is 5 years older than she is. So there you go. Anyway, I mean, back then it wasn't creepy, but nowadays, a lot of people would say that it was creepy. I've always wondered if Pudgy's still exists, but my mom likes to talk about the pizza place that she worked at where she met my dad. It was called Pudgy's. Exactly. See, back then it wasn't weird. Nowadays, a man who is 24 years old talking to a 19-year-old, it seems a little weird, right? But back then it wasn't weird. Probably. Probably. I think that would be awesome. I never even looked it up. You know what? I could totally Google that. I don't know why I never thought to look it up. The fact that I've never thought about it. Let's see. It's in Corning. Oh, wait, Horsehead. Oh, Ithaca. Damn it. It's probably the one in Corning. It's got to be Corning. I know it's of age. It's got to be the one that's in Corning. I know. Damn, that shit looks good too. Damn, look at them wings. Oh, look at them wings. Mm. Oh my, look at that pizza. Damn, I don't have any pizza. Oh, I gotta go to my parents' house to do their mail and stuff like that tomorrow. Pizza, wings, and subs. Hmm. Damn, that looks good. Oh my gosh, that looks good. Has to be the one. Oh my god, I love that. Ooh, look at how delicious that looks. Mm. God, that looks so good. Oh, oh, I could fuck some shit up right there. That looks delicious. Ew, why would you open your sandwich and show that? Ew. Oh, meatball subs. Okay, I gotta get out of this. Damn. 3 places. Damn. I know, right? That looks good. That looks good. While I'm here, I might as well check. Okay, that one's still up. But this one, can't wait for tomorrow night and new. 11, how are we talking about food at 11 p.m.? Hey, I'm about to go get me some snacks. Oh, yeah. Time to travel to New York at 10:45 p.m. I know, right? I need a I need a jet, my own private jet. Just randomly come pick people up and go, "Hey, wait, what the hell?" No. Wait, it says I can go see it. Uh, oh, I need to just refresh the screen. uh, you finally got rid of all your snow? Nice. Hell yeah. I just need a private jet. Go pick some people up, be like, woohoo! This poor baby. Anyway, all right. It is 10:45 here. We got more that we're gonna read tomorrow. We gotta have a lot more that's gonna happen. We've got we got a dead body now. Second one in the center. Yeah, she keeps waking up and leaning back in there, and then she'll come back out and she'll look, and then she'll lean back forward. She's just waiting for me to go in there. You live right by a private plane hangar? See, that's what I'm saying. If I have a private jet, I'll just go right over there. You can come on over. I'll go to land at the airport where yeah, probably not. But I'll land over at the airport by Camaro, grab her, and then we'll go over to Carrie's place and be like, "All right, let's go get some pizza." Isn't New York the city that never sleeps? I mean, that's funny. Oh yeah, but I also had several little clips and stuff like that that we're posting all day today. Oh yeah, Manhattan. Oh, okay. Forget Manhattan. That's where you get the, "Hey, I'm walking here." Just kidding. Yeah. Mm. Damn. So Yell's places are closed a lot. Yeah. See? She just tucked herself back inside there. You see a little bit over. She's like trying to hide inside that little she's just trying to hide in there. And at some point she'll lift her head back up and she'll pop back out of there. Manhattan people are louder than the rest of them. Ugh. 8:30 is too early? Please. Whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna go get me a snack because for some reason I am starving. I can hear Kira walking around a little bit out there. I don't know if she just went to go get water and then laid back down or if she got up to pee. So, anyway, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get me a snack, probably watch a few YouTube videos on the TV out there because that's fun. I love it. Um, work a little bit. I gotta finish hell yeah. Uh I gotta finish a little bit on the book I'm working on. And yeah, YouTube on the big screen. Hell yeah, 85 inches. See, I know. Every single time when I'm like, "Oh, my parents are from New York," I have to make sure to say, "They're from upstate New York." Upstate. Upstate New York. I know, Miranda. I know. These 2 that I have in my hand are allocated for one goes to Hayden because that is her. The other one goes to my mother. I know. Um, I have Roadkill Cafe. I have that. That is right over there behind me. Um, but anyway, yes, I'm going to do a few things. I know you do. I know. Yeah, hey, you still got books to read? You still have books to read? You got these? You got these. So you still have others. Didn't you get didn't you get these too? You got these too, right? You got these too? I mean, I'm reading these, but slow your roll. Just kidding. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna go and do a few things, get a little snack. Plus, I've been sitting here long enough with the water. Gotta go potty. And I do not do that on live. Sorry, y'all. That's where I draw the line. Plus, I have to take care of the dog who's probably having an issue. And Minnie may want to come back inside. I can't hear her from back here. Not unless she comes over to this window and starts screaming, which she has done, where she's like, "Hey, I know you're in there, lady. Can I come in the house?" And speaking of which, I thought I heard her. I did not. It's probably my chair. But anyway, okay, guys. Christy Jorgensen, I'm here again. Okay. And I will see everyone tomorrow, first on TikTok, and then over here to finish the book. So, yes. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Okie dokie. Okay, bye.